4th of July, fireworks in the sky, but the truth's still buried underground. Royal Low, yeah. They told me, wave the flag while the chains still clank. Told me praise the names on the blood-soaked banks. Told me freedom was born in the room full of men who wrote liberty down while they own human skins. So fuck your founding fathers and the myths they made. I don't pledge to the lie, I don't kneel to the page. You can light up the sky, I remember the smoke from the fields, from the ships, from the necks in the rope. You call it independence, I call it selective. You call it patriotic, I call it protective. Other stories so fragile it cracks when questioned. Truth knocks once and they call it aggression. Yeah. Red for the blood they spill, white for the lies they told, blue for the bruises left on the bodies they sold. Don't ask me to celebrate what never included mine. I came with the receipts, I came to redraw the line. Fuck your founding fathers, I don't owe them praise. They built a nation on our backs, then told us smile through the pain. Fuck your founding fathers, let the fireworks cry. This ain't freedom for the people. If the truth still gotta hide, yeah. No justice, no peace, no lie gets crowned. We don't worship old ghosts when the roots scream loud. Fuck your founding fathers. On the 4th of July, I'm lighting up the truth while they light up the sky. They say, look how far we came. I say, look what it cost. Every courthouse got a shadow, every victory got lost. They gave statues to the takers, made heroes out of thieves. Put their faces on the money while the hungry couldn't breathe. Don't lecture me on freedom from a stolen land stage. Don't quote old documents with blood on the page. Don't tell me be grateful for a seat at the table when my people built the room and got treated unstable. You can't buy me through the truth, you can dress it in stars, but the anthem still echoes like chains behind bars. I don't hate the people, I hate the disguise. I hate when the guilty get praised as the wise. Red for the blood they spill, white for the lies they told, blue for the bruises left on the bodies they sold. Don't ask me to celebrate what never included mine. I came with the receipts, I came to redraw the line. Fuck your founding fathers, I don't owe them praise. They built a nation on our backs, then told us smile through the pain. Fuck your founding fathers, let the fireworks cry. This ain't freedom for the people. If the truth still gotta hide, no justice, no peace, no lie gets crowned. We don't worship old ghosts when the roots scream loud. Fuck your founding fathers. On the 4th of July, I'm lighting up the truth while they light up the sky. Don't call it hate when the wound speaks back. Don't call it division when our name was fact. Don't call it progress while the system still bites. Don't call it freedom if we still gotta fight. I'm not here for comfort, I'm not here to pretend. I'm here for the children who deserve better than this. Better than myths, better than chains, better than flags used to cover up pain. So this one's for the ancestors who never got rest, for the names never written but who gave us their best, for the mothers who prayed, for the fathers who ran, for the babies born fighting in the stolen man's plan. This is not disrespect, this is correction. This is not rebellion, this is resurrection. You can keep your parade, I keep speaking the truth. I don't need permission to remember my roots. Royal oak in the soil, truth in the flame. If the crown came with silence, then I don't want the name. But if the crown means standing when the whole world falls, then I'm 10 toes down till the real story's told. Fuck your founding fathers, I don't owe them praise. They built a nation on our backs, then told us smile through the pain. Fuck your founding fathers, let the fireworks cry. This ain't freedom for the people. If the truth still gotta hide, no justice, no peace, no lie gets crowned. We don't worship old ghosts when the roofs scream loud. Fuck your founding fathers. On the 4th of July, lighting up the truth while they light up the sky. Fireworks fade. truth don't die. Royal low. 4th of July. Not your midnight, not your lie, not your version of my life.
All right, Grand Rising, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your Saturday Vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right, so let's see who's in here. Hadassah is here. All right. Donna, Antoinette, Pearlie, Nessa X is in the virtual building. Let's get into it. 57 Beige Fox. Georgia PD is here. All right. Leon, Candy Girl, Cindy Cracks, Nessie X, Cherokee Descendant Dale, Truth Brown, Pearlie. All right. Deronda, I see you. Carlton, Leon, Danielle, Glenda, The Louds, Thomas. All right, so let's get into it. Everybody hit that like button. I see you, Yimaya and Alice, Buckhorst DC, Chili Willie from Philly. All right, let's get it popping. Quiet Storm, Silly Bone is here. Okay, so shout out to all of my loyal roles and everyone tuned into the Queen. And a big shout out to my moderators because y'all know they be putting in work. I see you, Delano, beloved. Thomas is here. Okay, High Confessions. Now, before we get started, Dario, I see you. Okay, Jeff, before we get started, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes. Here we go.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right. So don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find her products at Walmart.com. And don't forget that she sells beard oil as well. Okay, so we're about to get right into it. All right, so everybody hit that like button. Thank you in advance. Also, if you have not been receiving the notifications, please do yourself a favor and double check to make sure you're still subscribed to the Queen's channel because sometimes people get unsubscribed. Okay, so first things first, there was another drowning of a Black 18-year-old by the name of Chad Lakeith Pittman. This happened in May, and the family still wants answers. Okay, now I just heard about this story just this morning. All right, when I was putting together my receipts, I just happened to see this. So, with that all being said, let's talk about it. Like, everyone, please like and share. Okay, here we go. I mean, this happened in Mississippi also, just so you know, guys. This happened at the Clarko State Park, which is 5 miles from Quitman, Mississippi, and approximately 20 miles south of Meridian off Mississippi Highway 145. Only 18 years old.
County involving a deputy sheriff and 6 sheriff officers resigning from the force. Emergency crews were dispatched to Clarko State Park after a call about a potential drowning. Clark County Emergency Management Agency's director, Bradley McNeese, told Twin States more about the incident.
At approximately 5:30 yesterday evening, we received a call about a possible drowning on the dive pier at Clarko State Park. We were told it was an 18-year-old male who had dove in and had not come back up.
McNeese explained that emergency crews quickly arrived on scene.
We're on scene within less than a minute, one of which dove in the water and attempted to begin trying to locate the male. I went on and notified Lima Dive Team. They had folks headed to me instantly. We had a boat in the water within 10 minutes.
Even though rescue teams arrived quick and swift, the young man had drowned in the water. The name of the victim has been released as Mr. Chad Lakeith Pittman. McNeese gave advice to residents to remember while swimming in deep waters this summer.
if you're not a good swimmer, you know, stay where your feet still touch the ground. If you have young kids or not sure if they can swim, life jackets are always a positive. Parents always need to be around and aware of where your children are around water.
The Clark County Emergency Agency asks for residents to keep this young man's family and friends in their prayers as they go through this difficult and tragic time. Joseph Jernigan, Twin States News, Meridian.
Okay, now as you can see, they did not give much information in that report. Okay, they didn't give much information at all, which I find interesting. So let's talk about it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now, here's what they say. The devastating drowning of 18-year-old Chad Lakeith Pittman at Clarko State Park has left his family demanding answers. Despite the official ruling of an accidental drowning, discrepancies in the timeline and the silence of his friends who were with him leave grieving loved ones searching for the truth. Now, on Monday, May the 18th of 2026, an idyllic afternoon at Clarko State Park turned into a parent's worst nightmare. 18-year-old Chad Lakeith Pittman, a beloved resident of Quitman, Mississippi, was enjoying the water with a group of friends. Now, around 5:30 p.m., emergency responders received a distress call. First responders and a dive team from the Lauderdale Emergency Management Agency arrived at the scene quickly, and within an hour, they recovered Chad's body. While local officials initially listed it as an accidental drowning, the Pittman family, their grief has been compounded by confusion. Now, the circumstances surrounding Chad's final moments are murky, and the timeline of events remains shrouded in mystery. His family is struggling to understand exactly who was present when he went under, how long he was in distress, and why help wasn't called sooner. To a grieving family, the silence from the group of friends who accompanied him that day is deafening. This is also nefarious. These things continue to happen, especially in Mississippi. So for the Pittmans, the sudden loss of a young man with his whole future ahead of him is unbearable. But the pain is made worse by the lack of transparency. And they are not just mourning a tragic accident, they're questioning how an 18-year-old could lose his life while surrounded by peers who were supposed to have his back. The family is pleading for anyone with information to step forward. They want the friends who were there at that day to break their silence and provide a full, honest account of exactly what transpired. For the Pittman family, healing cannot begin until they get the transparency and justice that Chad deserves. This is all absolutely egregious. Okay, this is absolutely egregious. I want you all to pay attention. So it's the same scenario. Silence. Okay, that's what it is. Now, here's another a post that somebody made about a video clip. Let's go to that. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. These things are not all accidents, and it's so really ridiculous, in my opinion, that they expect us to believe that they are.
He didn't drown. He was bullied to his death by a white man named John Skinner, who fled Mississippi after the death of Chad Pittman. He was not detained. He was only questioned, one time, Christiana?
Yeah, one time. Yeah, his report was not.
Yeah, well, we need for y'all to question John Skinner again.
Yeah,
because his statement, he never had a written statement.
No, we got every statement from the investigator and whoever was on my baby case out of Jackson.
Okay.
Tell me and the dad thing down to my baby.
There you have it. You know, this is a very, very sad case. He didn't drown. He was bullied to his death by.
Okay, so as you all can see, this is what the people are saying. Now, let me go to this next post. So they say, my niece, Christina Pittman, took a leap of faith and reached out to a platform so Chad Pittman's story could be heard. And it's not to start a race war. A lot of you heartless people that I don't look that I don't look at as human beings anymore got a lot of nerve to get under a post and make disgusting, disrespectful comments about my nephew. So I'm here to set the record straight. Chad was a strong athlete who was talented in everything he did, whether it was driving a tractor, a standard horseback riding, swimming, playing football, and catching snakes. He was straight up what we call a country backwood boy. Now, those teens he left home with for the third day that week were coming to pick him up after he got out of school and football practice, and he worked. And he worked. That's how the co-worker comes into play. They worked together. He was a black kid. Now, FYI, that coworker hung out with the other teens that he brought along with him. But one in particular was older, in his 20s. He wasn't even from SIP, but Alabama. Oh, I guess that means Mississippi. Okay. But Alabama, yes, he was white. The others were biracial, but all of them were close friends of the coworker, not Chad. So the article says accidental drowning. Okay, but only 2 were questioned. And when asked what happened, the first thing the 20-year-old said is he dove in and couldn't swim. Really? Really, after 3 days of swimming with Chad, all of a sudden he couldn't swim? They also said the divers arrived in minutes, which was true. But Chad had been under the water for over an hour when they called. Do you all hear this? But they wait a whole hour before they called. So what took them so long to call 911? If you wasn't there, you really need to keep your comments to yourself. We found out that since it was after 4 p.m., the workers should have never allowed them to come swim at that hour. Even though there are no lifeguards present, they had surveillance all around the lake. Those divers swam around the lake for another entire hour and couldn't find my nephew, and had some and had those Sonor on their boat. I don't know what that is, SONAR. And it was a civilian who discovered Chad's body within minutes after he placed his boat in that lake. God bless you. My family and I thank you kindly. I'm not blaming the dive team. I'm just stating that they swam all around his body for an hour and didn't see anything with the equipment required to find bodies underwater. After pulling our baby's body from that damn lake, that older white kid vanished. The teens returned to school and started sharing text messages against each other saying Chad and the white kid had words passed and were arguing while swimming, and he was held down by that kid. So they are saying that the teens were saying this guy held Chad down. Okay, they also claimed, and this is my first time reading this. I just saw it and sent it to my email, but whatever, because like I said, I just found this out this morning. So they also claimed that they all were taking turns diving off the pier and pressured Chad into doing it as well at first. And at first he said no, but eventually he did it, but afterwards came up and continued swimming. Now, this sounds like the same thing that supposedly happened to Deion Walton, okay, in Alabama, because he was out with his coach and his white coaches and white football team members, and they said that he dove off of something, him and some other football players. But anyway, we've also heard he cut a backward flip off the pier, swam around, and swim around some more, and all of a sudden he began swimming out towards the deep end of the lake, and they called his name to come back, but he kept swimming and then went under, but he didn't seem to be drowning, so we had no clue. So my question to you is, what would you do what would you do? Allow this, I'm sorry, there's no punctuation marks, okay, so bear with me. What would you do? Allow this to be acceptable or get the answer you really need? Because right now there's too many stories being told by the individuals that were there, and there was no statement documented from the other kid that fled. At the end of the day, my nephew was picked up by these people and never returned home. But they did. And when Chad's mom asked about this older kid, the coworker said, that guy has done so much for me. He has helped me through so much. I couldn't go against him. I really don't know what happened out there between him and Chad, when indeed he knows exactly what happened. Do y'all hear this? It says reading is fundamental. Don't comment on my post with your negative thoughts, and I won't hold back. This is a child who had no idea on May the 18th he would be taken away from his family forever. He was doing what he loved, which was enjoying nature and having fun. That is so sad, honey. Prayers and condolences to the family, friends, and loved ones. But these things continue to happen. So basically, this man who was 20 years old and lived in Alabama was there visiting, I'm supposing. That's what it sounds like. And then fled as soon as this happened. And was not even detained, maybe questioned, but there's no official written statements, supposedly. And I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, that I saw somewhere. Hold on, let me just double check really quick because I think that same medical examiner. Hold on. Hold on, beloveds. I don't want to misspeak. I'm trying to double check this. Okay, it doesn't say, but I saw it somewhere. It must have been perhaps on a Facebook post. I'm thinking because I definitely saw it. That same medical examiner that we were talking about that's been so shady, Stacy, whatever her name is. Yeah, that was on one of these posts. Okay, so anyway, I'm not sure if that's true or not, but it was just posted. Okay, so anyway, like I said, condolences to the family. These things continue to happen. Okay, these things continue to happen. And then for the fact that people got under the aunt's post talking crazy, this is a thing about racist people. They don't have any sympathy and empathy, and not that we should expect them to, but just keep your thoughts to yourself. Okay, just keep your thoughts to yourself, because for whatever reason, well, clearly nefariousness, they love to taunt, okay, and just try to pour salt in the wounds, okay, of Black folk when these sorts of things happen. They just can't mind their own business, but they just have to come out and say all kinds of hateful things. Even in the case of Cohen Wiley, the little baby, the 1-year-old. Now, who would be saying anything about that or poking fun? But that guy that got busted the other day, what's his name? Remington? I don't remember his last name, but you all know he even said that he had done a video talking about that baby and said it went viral. And I guess that's when he decided to come out and try to crack jokes about Nolan's death. Okay, so like I said, these people are something else. And then when we call them out on their BS, all of a sudden we're the racists, like the attempts at reverse psychology are unmatched. Okay, they really should be studied, in my opinion. Now, with that all being said, let's get into the case of Nolan. Okay, because listen, I've been telling you all for days about the Klan activity and those rituals and initiations and all of those things. And there are 7 Klan groups, supposedly, maybe even more, but there are 7 Klan groups, according to my research, down there in Mississippi. And also, I found out some interesting information on the mayor. I'm sorry, not the mayor, the governor. Okay, so let's get into that. Now, we're going to get into that. Also, we're going to talk about how Warren's dad is a whole toxicologist. Okay. Matter of fact, let's just get that out of the way right now. Okay. Because I knew his father was a doctor and his stepmother's a judge, but something told me, let's see what kind of doctor he is exactly. Okay, so here it is right here. Dr. Benjamin Hudson, emergency medicine. Okay, so that being said, here's his specialties. Dr. Benjamin Hudson is an emergency medicine physician in Gulfport, Mississippi. He received his medical degree from Tulane University School of Medicine and has been in practice for more than 20 years. Okay, emergency medicine specialists can rapidly assess and treat patients with catastrophic injuries. Common reasons to visit emergency rooms include heart attack, drug overdose, shock, burns, and massive bleeding. Okay, right here it says subspecialties, medical toxicology. Okay, medical toxicology, and I find that all interesting. Another thing that someone put in the comments, I want to say it was yesterday, they said something about, and I hadn't thought about this, but they said that another reason they may have been waiting so long, stalling the investigation or whatnot, is to make sure that those boys had anything that was in their system out, okay, in case they're requested to do a toxicology report. So I said that's interesting because I didn't even think about that. Okay, so let's get into these receipts. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, so Ocean Springs mayor calls KKK racist, coward, terrorist. Now, this was March of 2018 when this article came out. It says the mayor of Ocean Springs has responded after the KKK sent a video to a Gulf Coast civil rights group this week. Okay, so see, here's the thing. The Klan is absolutely alive and kicking. Okay, they sent a video to a civil rights group. Now, in a statement released Thursday morning, Mayor Shay Dobson said the KKK is a bunch of racist, coward terrorists. Their actions should be be rebuked by everyone, regardless of party affiliation or political beliefs. This Gulf Coast community is made up of the most compassionate and loving people there is, regardless of what others may say. Dobson's comments come after a press conference was held on the steps of Ocean Springs City Hall Wednesday to address the video, which was sent to Mississippi Rising Coalition and targeted the civil rights group's president, Lee Campbell. Okay, now the news received a copy of the video, which showed a series of still photos, including one showing 6 men standing in front of a burning cross and all wearing hoods and robes. It was officially posted March 25th, okay, by the United Dixie White Knights. That's why I told y'all that lady in my chat the other day with Dixie her name. I already knew what she was about. Okay, who confirmed Wednesday in an exclusive statement to the media that they posted the video. It was removed from YouTube on Wednesday. And so I find that interesting because they say the Klan actually took credit for this and let them know, yeah, we sent the video, now what? Okay, I'm going to show you the picture. It was a whole video, but the video's been removed, so I'm going to share the screen and show you all this picture. Okay, there it is right there. They had a burning cross, and as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, it looks like at least 4 hoods. Okay? These people are nefarious. All right? These people are really nefarious. And for anybody to be sitting here trying to act like Mississippi isn't full of racism, okay, they can't make it make sense. And they act like we're just pulling stuff out of thin air. So the United Dixie White Knights admit to sending video to Mississippi Rising Coalition. And here's what they say. Okay, according to Mississippi Rising, the group received a link to a 10-minute video posted on YouTube by United Dixie White Knights. Now, the video, which was posted that Sunday, was removed from YouTube Wednesday morning. United Dixie White Knights admitted to sending the video and promised more in an email. Here's what they said. Yes, we put out the video, and whether the communist anti-First Amendment folks at YouTube like it or not, more are coming. We opened multiple accounts way back to defeat their censorship to open up when we feel the need to speak. A massive flyer campaign will begin this spring in Florida, Alabama, and Mississippi, as those areas are UDWK country. What does this? Anyone know what UDWK country means? I'm gonna have to look that up. Must be Klan speak. Now, any scoundrel of a politician who feels like going against the voters of Mississippi in regards to our state flag, well, we welcome them to step up to the plate so we can shine a bright spotlight upon their heads. Oh, this must be before they got the Confederate emblem removed from their flag. Philip Gunn is high up on our list of turncoats who chose to stab Mississippi voters in the back because he lusts for national politics. Now, he will soon regret his decision. Our Jackson, Miss Claiborne, is one of the largest Ku Klux Klaverns. Oh, the MS must stand for Mississippi, but they have a small S. I'm thinking it's Mississippi Clavern. Okay, it's one of the largest Ku Klux Klaverns in this country. And I've given them orders to blanket Gunn's district with flyers meant to awaken the white sheep to his actions. The Mississippi Rising Coalition is nothing more than a Ponzi scheme set up to bilk the mentally ill. Oh, okay. How am I going to say this? He says homosexual. Y'all know he's being homophobic. That's what he said. Okay, to bilk the mentally ill homosexual crowd of its money. Leah and that bunch and that bunch is out-of-state financing are nothing but puppets for the likes of George Soros in Hollywood. A year-long investigation into this bunch has brought many interesting things to light. They will have the spotlight of truth shined upon them when we're done. Talking big trash, please pay attention. White Mississippians believe in God and will never, ever piss upon our ancestors' graves in regard to our state flag. So they're Christians? I want you to pay attention because the Klan absolutely registers themselves as a Christian organization. Make it all make sense. Now, as we all can see, the NWO, y'all know what NWO stands for. I'm not going to say it because YouTube puts a thing on your channel when you do. The first word is new, and the last one is when you order something from McDonald's, okay? Now, the NWO plan to take away our Second Amendment so they can put the final nail in America's coffin. It's being started. We will never give up our guns. As history shows us, GENOcide soon follows, okay? I just spelled that out because I don't want to say it. These sheep who are marching do not understand the consequences of their actions. Their actions will lead to revolution, and our rivers will flow with the blood of tyrants, puppets, and fools, as white Mississippians have never bowed down to those who seek to destroy us. And by God, we're not starting now. Honey, they were clearly pressed. Okay, they were serious about that flag. And then some people want to tell us it isn't a symbol of racism and hatred. Of course it is. We will fight to the bitter end. And if anyone doubts that the real Ku Klux Klan are not fighters, they better examine our history. Don't let these imposters, the false, then they talk about, how do I want to say this? Yahoos, Satan Yahoos people, calling them false. On TV, fool you, saying don't let them imposters fool you. We are alive and well and are larger than we have been in years. Do y'all hear this? Do y'all hear this? They said they are alive and well and larger than they have been in years. Okay? Please pay attention. We have learned from past mistakes and have learned the way our enemies operate. See, I told you all these people study us, so you had better study them. All right? Please pay attention. And they've learned from their mistakes. So that means they're going to be a whole lot less likely to get caught. It's basically what they're saying when they carry out these lynchings and whatnot, all these other nefarious things. Okay, so anyway, they go on to say, we have learned from the past mistakes and have learned the way our enemies operate. We work silently now as we were intended to be. We are working behind the scenes on many political fronts and have eyes and ears everywhere. Yeah, they're in politics, specifically in Mississippi, because I read that too. Now, the MRC is a wealth of info, and were easily infiltrated. We see clearly who are pulling these degenerate strings. I strongly warn our politicians not to bow down to outside political powers and the NWO agenda, especially in regards to our Second Amendment. As if they do, we are coming for their political heads. A war is on for our very way of life and possibly the soil under our feet. It will be stained red with blood before we ever surrender or retreat. Do y'all hear that? I mean, he threw bars at the end. Okay, did y'all hear that? This is absolutely nefarious. Okay, please pay attention. Like up, everyone, please like and share. Okay, I find it all so nefarious. So yeah, and then they signed their name, or this isn't their name, but well, it says Imperial Wizard Waller. I guess that's who said it, who sent it. But let me look up this thing they have on here. It says non-syllable said Anthar. I don't know what that means, but I'm about to look it up. And UDWK. Honey, these people are something else, but they want us to think there's no racism in America. Get the F out of here. Okay, please make it all make sense. So this basically is a pseudo-Latin and Gothic phrase, non-syllaba sed anthar. It is a slogan used by the Ku Klux Klan. It is intended to translate to not self, but others. It was widely utilized by the group, particularly in the 1920s, and appears on various historical membership materials and medallions. So that's something that they put on their medallions. Okay, now let me see what this UDWK stands for. Let me see here. Okay, it says it's a recognized historical Klan acronym or abbreviation. In internet slang, it means you don't want to know. Oh, okay. You don't want to know. That's what that stands for. Y'all remember that episode of Sanford and Son where that guy was breaking into Julio's house? And then Fred said, "Who is that in there?" And the man said, "You don't know and you don't want to know." That's what it's given. Okay, please pay attention. These people are absolutely devilish. Okay, now let's talk about Klan politics in Mississippi. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. The KKK resurfaces this time with political intentions. Okay, this is from 2018 as well. The Ku Klux Klan is getting back into Mississippi electoral politics. Last week, the United Dixie White Knights, a South Mississippi-based chapter of the KKK, allegedly sent a video of a burning cross to the leader of the Mississippi Rising Coalition, a Gulf Coast-based group working to change the state flag, which is the last in the nation containing the Confederate emblem. Following the backlash, which included national media attention, the group denied sending the video and posted a statement disparaging the coalition and criticizing reporters who covered the story, and included a political threat to top legislative Republican who has said he wants a new flag. Okay, then they came out and admitted that they sent it. Now, Philip Gunn is high upon our list of turncoats to stab Mississippi voters. Okay, we already got that part. And so the Ocean Springs mayor and board of aldermen have emboldened extremists to act out their true white supremacist feelings. Okay, a plaintiff in the suit and Jackson County NAACP President Curly Clark said, "We are here to see if we can find some equality for all of Ocean Springs citizens." Now, responding to reports of the video, the KKK's chapter leader, Brent Waller, vowed increased political action to keep the state flag flying in an official capacity. Okay, saying if we don't start getting in politics, they'll, and that means the activists who want to change the flag, just run the narrative. Okay, that's what he said. He told Mississippians in a news publication that on a telephone interview that Monday, saying they try to censor us to keep us and the far right from being heard. We're living in a state of tyranny today. That's the way I see it. It just makes us sick. Now, during the interview, he called out Gunn, who is the most prominent Republican leader in the state, to call for a new state flag. Gunn's office declined to comment. So he says, "I'm going to do everything in my power to throw that bastard out on his head." This is what the Klan leader said. When asked what specifically Waller planned, he said, "I know that trick. I can't give out my strategy. Then they'll be ready for it." Less than 3 minutes later, Waller laid out his political strategy. Here's what he said: "We're going to blast his district with flyers. Maybe we'll work on his campaign and get inside info." So basically saying they'll get people to infiltrate. Okay, if he rears his head and pops up much more, I'm just going to endorse him. See how he'll like that. When asked if he thought his endorsement would hurt Gunn, he replied, "No, it will." Now, when asked why, he said, "Because they'll associate him with us. No one ever wants that. We've had success with that in the past." These people are something else. Now, when asked about which campaign that strategy worked, Waller pointed to Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign. Some brothers in Alabama endorsed Hillary, he said. Ain't none of them boys supported her, but the press sure ran with it. Local and national news outlets did cover that 2016 endorsement, but nearly every report expressed skepticism that the endorsement was genuine or carried any weight. The KKK was formed after the civil rights to terrorize blacks. Okay, we know all of that. But I find it interesting. Now, they say recent years have seen a spate of Klan rallies and other activity in support of the Confederate battle flag, which came under renewed scrutiny after the murders of 9 churchgoers by a white neo-Confederate named Dylan Roof in 2015, and against the removal of Confederate statues around the country. So the Southern Poverty Law Center's estimates that in 2017, the United Dixie White Knights had at least 5 flyer campaigns in Mississippi and Alabama. In 2016, the group distributed flyers in a Black neighborhood in Florence and in the Jackson neighborhood of Belhaven. They say Heidi Berrick, the director of the SPLC's intelligence project, which covered hate groups and their activities, does not believe the group is growing. However, Waller would not say this week how many members are in the group, saying that even though it's nearly impossible to know membership numbers of any group, the claim that they're one of the largest KKK groups in America is far from true. This is what Barrick said. Now, in the months leading up to former Imperial Wizard Brent Waller closing the doors to UDWK in July of 2017, it was clear that it was struggling for members and was trying to form alliances with other Klan groups and hate groups in an effort to stay afloat. While we've seen some activity from UDWK in 2018, we don't believe that the group is gaining significant numbers. So from the investigations into voting rights and the future of democracy to deep reported, okay, I'm sorry, that's something else. I'd have to read all that. So they say they're not growing, but there's other Klan groups that they're trying to join. Okay, and that's interesting because here's the thing. According to my research, as I told you, they have 7 Klan groups, and this is according to the Southern Poverty, the SPLC, Southern Poverty Law Center. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen so we can take a look at this report. And guess what? This report is from 2024. Okay, so just 2 years ago. Likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance. Just waiting for this ad to end. Just a few more seconds. It's not giving me the ability to just skip past it. Okay, here we go. Is this another ad? Like, what is this? Okay, this looks like an ad. Let me see where this is going. Hold on. Okay, sorry, my bad. I thought that was a video. Hold on, let me just read the article. So it says, during the Civil Rights Movement, the White Citizens Council and the KKK were the largest and most influential white supremacist organizations in Mississippi. Though its formal presence is no longer observed in the state, the Southern Poverty Law Center, SPLC, found 7 discriminatory and anti-government organizations in Mississippi. Well, no surprise there. So they say active clubs are one of the largest networks of white power groups in the United States. It uses physical exercise such as sparring as a recruiting tool. It also recruits young men and boys in its series of youth clubs. Okay, so the organization that seeks to promote traditional moral values specifically targets LGBTQ. Okay, it publicizes companies that support that company and organizes boycotts against them, according to the SPLC. Now, the national organization headquartered in Tupelo owns 200 radio stations and has a $20 million budget. So according to the SPLC, neo-folkish organizations rely on romanticized Viking aesthetic and mythology to perpetrate their belief in white supremacy. Originally established as the Viking Brotherhood, it is the largest neo-folkish hate group in the United States. The organization advocates for its members to homeschool their children in its schooling initiative known as the Astru Academy. So they even have a whole school. This is all crazy. This is all crazy. Okay, so like I said, a whole lot of Klan activity. Okay, it's a clandestine operation down there in Mississippi, as far as I'm concerned. But here's the thing: also, it was reported that there were a bunch of Klan artifacts found. Okay, they were found at some office. The Mississippi Department of Public Safety uncovers rare KKK artifacts in one of its offices. So a notebook with meeting minutes and a ledger are among the KKK related items that the Mississippi state government uncovered while clearing out an office, offering new glimpses into the violent white supremacist group known for its secrecy and links to law enforcement. Now, you all did hear that right. It's links to law enforcement. You see, that's why there was never going to be a thorough investigation on the death of Nolan Wells or any other Black person who drowned under suspicious circumstances, who was found as strange fruit in a tree down there in Mississippi. Okay, this is why you have, and like I told you all, when the FBI released that report a few years ago, saying that the Klan had infiltrated some of these police departments, I said they didn't infiltrate. They've always been within the police department. The only ones that infiltrate the police are good cops. Okay, because the Klan's always been there. Let's not forget the cops were made. They came from the slave patrols. Okay, so anyway, it says all the objects have been transferred to the Mississippi Department of Archives and History. Officials say it will take months to process the materials. Now, they can serve as a reminder of the Klan's history in the state and highlight the importance of preserving history so it's not repeated, according to Black civil rights advocates. One says, I'm glad these stories are coming out because it was a real pain. That's what Charles Taylor, executive director of Mississippi State Conference of the NAACP, said. So now I want you all to pay attention because this was found in a government office. Okay, a Mississippi State government office. Okay, now which politician's office was that? Because that's what they don't say. So the Mississippi Department of Public Safety last week disclosed the discovery of several KKK objects while preparing to relocate to new headquarters. Unearthed inside a suitcase were a handbook for the White Knights of the KKK, Klan charters, a Klan robe, KKK recruitment materials, propaganda such as The Ugly Truth about Martin Luther King. This is a pamphlet they had. Meeting notes, ledgers, and a list of members who paid and didn't pay their dues. Officials with the Department of Archives History said they're not shying away from the discovery. Okay, a whole lot of hate down there. I mean, I really don't understand how Black folks still want to live down there. I just couldn't do it. Okay, I just couldn't do it. And now here's another thing. KKK flyers reportedly distributed in Ocean Springs. Okay, in Ocean Springs. Now, here's what they say on the flyer. We must never forget our ancestors or turn against God. We urge all Mississippians to expose the corrupt nature of they're saying some disparaging things about LGBTQ, calling them deviants and all this stuff, who work at these outside corporations in our state. If you are scared to do so, send the information to us. Until the day God sends the glorious Phoenix priest to strike down those who bow to Satan, remember this. The Mississippi KKK will leave the light on for you. Then another one says, don't let the outside immoral crowd and their news media get your butt in a bind. We will never bow to basically LGBTQ or other unnatural acts that go against the laws and nature of God. We will never piss on our glorious ancestors' graves. So let me tell you something. These people are delusional. These people are delusional. Okay? These people are absolutely delusional. At the end of the day, how are they so, I don't know. Hold on. Are y'all looking out for the hold on. I'm looking for these trolls. That's not what they're gonna say. Who office was it found in? Right. Where are the mods? I just got rid of one of the trolls. Hold on, beloved. My mods must be on vacation. Maybe they're not up yet. Hold on. Give me a couple of seconds. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Check. KKK are devil worshippers. That's witchcraft that they're doing. Exactly. So I'm just like, when they're talking about God, they clearly can't be talking about the same God that we're talking about. Okay. This is all crazy. And so anyway, I don't see any of the trolls, but they can sit here. The moderators will be coming soon, hopefully. Anyway, let's continue. I just got rid of one of them telling me that I need to wait or something like that. All right, so anywho, let's continue because they're saying that flyers claiming to be published and distributed by the KKK were found at several residences in Ocean Springs. Now, the group listed on their flyer was the United Dixie White Knights of the KKK realm of Mississippi. They apparently headquartered in Leakesville. Okay, the organization says it is committed to preserving our values and heritage. Okay, so like I said, these people are definitely still in full effect. Now let's talk about Governor Reeves. Let's get into him. Okay, likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Now we can see why he didn't care to offer any condolences to the family of Nolan Wales. I'm going to share this on the screen. I'm going to share this on the screen. You know, since the trolls are in here, I would like to know what they think about their history of hatred and racism. What do y'all think about it, trolls? I have questions. Jim Hood elaborates on racist photos his fraternity published in yearbook. So Jim Hood was the 39th Attorney General. Now, he was 4 terms, okay, in Mississippi from 2004 to 2020, and he was friends with Governor Tate Reeves. Both of them have been supposedly in blackface, okay? That's the picture right there. Okay, this is a 1983 University of Mississippi yearbook, shows members of the Pi Kappa Alpha fraternity in face paint. Okay, let's just call it what it is, blackface. Now, the state's lone statewide Democrat talked more about racist photographs that surfaced last week from his college fraternity when Hood was a member in the early 1980s. Okay, in the photo, members of Pi Kappa Alpha are wearing face paint and dressed like indigenous tribesmen. The controversy follows the emergence of similar photos from the fraternity to which Republican Lieutenant Governor Tate Reeves belonged at Millsaps, and the revelation of Democratic Virginia Governor Ralph Northam's medical school yearbook page, which features a man in blackface and another in full Klan regalia. Do y'all hear this? All of these people down there, I find it very interesting. These politicians, okay, down there, the law enforcement down there, these people are not to be trusted. Now, a spokeswoman for Reeves, the GOP frontrunner for governor, and now he is the governor, issued a short statement acknowledging that Reeves was a member of Kappa Alpha Order, which holds an Old South costume formal honoring Confederate culture. Reeves in his office has not elaborated further on the issue. As of press time on Monday, the Senate, where Reeves presides, was still in session, said we will update this story after adjournment if Reeves speaks to the press. So I find this interesting because that man, this was all found out before he became the governor. And he still became the governor. Isn't that something? That should tell us everything we need to know right there. This was all exposed before he was even the governor. And he still got the position. Wow. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now, with that being said, hold on. He also spoke at some Confederate thing and then tried to gaslight by bringing up that a black man was also there. Okay, isn't that what they often do? Governor Tate Reeves faces criticism over tradition of proclaiming Confederate Heritage Month. Now, hold on just a second. I think I have that proclamation. He even put a gold seal on it. Okay, please pay attention. Let me show that really quick. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, here it is. These people are something else. This is it right here, okay? Confederate Heritage Month. Honey, they're serious about their hatred. They are so serious about it. So anyway, this is Governor Tate's doings. Okay, he faces criticism over a tradition of proclaiming Confederate Heritage Month. Now, this was done April the 6th of 2023. Governor Tate Reeves, who 2 years ago signed a bill to change the state flag to a design without the Confederate battle emblem, once again proclaimed April as Confederate Heritage Month in Mississippi. Now, I wonder if he signed that bill to change the flag just to get votes. I wonder if that was a promise he made when he was running. I just have questions because Lord knows he didn't want to do it. I'm so sure. Now, the proclamation, which reads mistakenly dated April 31st, continues a 30-year tradition started back in 1993 by Governor Kirk Fordyce. Okay, the state's first Republican governor since Reconstruction. Pay attention to the first Republican governor. Okay, and he's the one who started the tradition. That's why I call them the Republic clans. Now, the proclamation goes beyond what is required by state law, which deems the last day of the month as Confederate Memorial Day. I, Tate Reeves, governor of the state of Mississippi, hereby proclaim the month of April 2023 as Confederate Heritage Month. Okay, the proclamation also said all veterans of the Civil War should be remembered, although Union veterans were not specifically mentioned as their Confederate counterparts. And as we honor all who lost their lives in this war, it is important for all Americans to reflect upon our nation's past, to gain insight from our mistakes and successes, and to come to a full understanding that the lessons learned today and learned yesterday and today will carry us through tomorrow if we carefully and earnestly strive to understand and appreciate our heritage and our opportunities which lie before us. That's what it says on the proclamation. I find this absolutely egregious. Okay? Absolutely egregious. But hold on. Hold on, because here's the article where he deflects and tries to, when he went and spoke at that meeting for the Confederates. And then he basically said that that was his duty as the governor. He says, I did speak to a group of 600 to 700 people that came to our state. The African-American mayor of the city in Vicksburg also spoke to that group and welcomed them to Mississippi and thanked them for spending money in our state. The fact of the matter is that the national park in Vicksburg is a tourist attraction that attracts thousands and thousands of people to Mississippi every single year. And I think that we ought to look at ways to attract more tourists to Mississippi. And one of the jobs and responsibilities of Lieutenant Governor is to welcome people to our state. Okay, that's what he said when he was Lieutenant Governor. Actually, he was the governor at that time. Okay. Yeah, he was the governor at that time. So anyway, he tried to gaslight by bringing the black man into it, even though the black man, I don't know what he had to do with it, but nonetheless, that doesn't negate the fact that he was there and he's the whole governor. Okay, like stuff, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Now, Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves has faced scrutiny over his past associations with Confederate groups and events. These ties primarily stem from a 2023 keynote speech at a Sons of Confederate Veterans gathering. Okay, his college fraternities, Confederate theme parties, and his annual proclamations of April as Confederate Heritage Month, Sons of Confederate Veterans, and the Sons of Confederate Veterans event in 2013. Okay, the event in July 2013, then Lieutenant Governor Tate Reeves spoke to the National Convention of Sons of the Confederate Veterans in Vicksburg, Mississippi. The controversy began. Reeves gave a speech welcoming the attendees and congratulating the SCV for keeping history alive for our youth. He spoke in front of a massive Confederate battle flag, and other speakers at the event reportedly defended the Confederate cause and compared Union soldiers to Yahtzees with an N. Now, Reeves's defense, well, when the photos resurfaced during his 2019 gubernatorial campaign, Reeves defended his attendance, stating that he was performing his official duties as lieutenant governor to welcome a large tourist group to the state. Now, college fraternity ties the frat parties. During the 1990s, as a student at Millsaps College, Reeves was a member of the Kappa Alpha Order, the imagery. So the fraternity was known for hosting Old South parties where members wore Confederate costumes. A 1990s college yearbook photo of Reeves in a KA-affiliated Confederate outfit surfaced during his 2019 campaign. Now, on his stats, he said, they say, while his campaign confirmed he attended those costume formals, Reeves has explicitly denied ever wearing blackface or KKK costumes. Confederate Heritage Month proclamation annual declarations. They say, since taking office as governor in 2020, Reeves has quietly signed official proclamations declaring April as Confederate Heritage Month in Mississippi. And then the backlash came. They say these declarations, which typically honor those who died in civil war without explicitly mentioning slavery, of course, as the cause of the conflict. Those things have drawn consistent condemnation from civil rights groups and historians. A state flag removal. Okay, despite his associations, Reeves also made history in 2020 by signing legislation that removed the Confederate battle emblem from the official Mississippi flag. Let me tell you all something. I see the play here. Okay, I see the play here. So what he likely did, in my opinion, is he likely agreed if he became governor that he would remove that emblem from the flag. Okay, because that's what the people were asking for. Maybe that's how he got in office. I don't know. But I find it all very interesting. I find it all very interesting. Now, that being said, this man, I honestly believe he's a whole Klansman. I absolutely believe he's a whole Klansman. Okay? It is loving the Confederacy, Heritage Month, and all of that. And then here's another article. A photo of the University of Mississippi's 1970 yearbook shows a member of the Delta Psi fraternity dressed in a KKK robe and hood holding two flaming torches. These people are something else. The photos include one of three members with their faces painted, one wearing dark-colored face paint and the stars and bars pattern of the Confederate flag. When reporters asked Reeves' office about the photos, his spokeswoman Laura Hipp responded with a statement saying, as a quick Google search will show, Lieutenant Governor Reeves was a member of Kappa Alpha Order. Okay, like every other college student, he did attend costume formals and other parties, and across America, Kappa Alpha's costume formal is traditionally called Old South in honor of the Civil War veterans who founded the fraternity in the 1800s. So that's their excuse. Look at this right here. This is one of the pictures right here. Miss Scarlett, can I be a Kappa Gamma? Okay. I guess she's supposed to be Scarlett from Gone with the Wind, and she's supposed to be Mammy. These people are something else, honey. They are literally obsessed with us. Okay. Richard says, Queen, Mississippi Confederate tourism? What the F? I also think Civil War and reenactments should be banned. It's akin to Yahtzee death camp reenactments. It's a known fact that the Yahtzees modeled their system after slavery. Yeah, of course they did. They said they learned it from the U.S. They absolutely have said that. And it's interesting because up until about a couple of weeks ago, I actually had this Confederate reenactment video. I actually had it in queue, and I meant to show it to you all, and I never did. And so after about a week or so, I just deleted it. But yeah, they're still alive and kicking. Okay, this is what the devils are doing. This is what the devils are doing. And so he claims that he never. Let me just show you all this. What was in the background when he did that speech, when he was the keynote speaker. Okay. When he was the keynote speaker, there was a huge Confederate flag right behind him. There he is right there in all its glory. I mean, it's just so amazing that these things are still persisting in 2026. It's literally amazing to me. Okay, because they were so, so quick to get rid of the Black Panther Party for self-defense. Okay, a group who was just trying to improve their community. They came up with the WIC program and the breakfast program, and were just protecting their people against police brutality. But I find it so interesting that this man right here, and many of these politicians, hold on, we're going to go to this video right here. Mississippi governor signing bill removing Confederate flag emblem. Jay said, why are we so surprised? It's not really surprising that they're doing these things. I'm just saying the fact that nothing has been done about them, and here we are in 2026, but they want to act as though we have made so many strides ahead. There's no more racism in America and all this and that. But it's just a little Tim Scott, okay? That's the main thing when I'm talking about. Tim Scott said there was no racism in America, okay?
This is not a political moment to me, but a solemn occasion to lead our Mississippi family to come together, to be reconciled, and to move on. We are resilient people, defined by our hospitality. We are a people of great faith. Now more than ever, we must lean on that faith, put our divisions behind us, and unite for a greater good. Now, whether you are proud of this step or angry with us over the process, I want you to know that I love you. I am praying for you. And I know healing will not happen by a bill or by a politician or by a legislative body. It must be done neighbor to neighbor, brother to brother, sister to sister, together as a family.
Now, I'm sure it just pained him to do that, beloveds.
It is now law.
Okay. I'm sure it pained him to do it. Look at the poor little black folks standing in the crowd as if he just did something so righteous. Okay, he's a whole devil, period. Okay, now, Just Me says, watching from Belgium. That's why I never liked America, because of our past. I don't even want to visit for any reason because I think racism started from there. I believe it did too, beloved. Okay, and shout out to Belgium. All right, thanks for tuning in. I absolutely believe it started here too. D Major says stars and bars is bars. I can't lie. Stars and bars. Is that what he said? I can't remember, but there was another one in that letter from the Klan accepting responsibility for sending those videos to that civil rights group. He said something that also rhymed. These people are something else. Okay. Thank you, D Major, for your insight into the topic and your contribution, beloved. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Now, let's go to some of these pictures that Governor Reeves says that he didn't take. Okay, some of these pictures that he claims he wasn't in. Okay? I mean, because the lies continue. I'm going to share my screen. So anyway, this is his 1993 yearbook. And here are the pictures right here. These people are something else. It says the images were first uncovered and published by the Democratic Super PAC, American Bridge, on its website. This comes after Virginia Governor Ralph Northam and Attorney General Mark Herring admitted to donning blackface at parties during their undergraduate careers, leading many to call for their resignations. And then, of course, Reeves Communication Director Laura Hipp issued that statement saying that, basically Google it or whatever. And it was just him participating in the little tradition that they had where they dress up, like the Confederacy. But here's the thing. If you weren't a whole racist and you simply wanted to dress up like the Confederacy, did you really have to put on blackface? Okay, did you really have to put on blackface? Yeah, you didn't. Okay, that's what you didn't have to do. That's what he chose to do. And these racist fraternities, these things are a whole nother problem. And you see, this is why very often, and look at this picture right here. What is this? So let me see if look at this. Hold on. The leader of the secret PSIs or SIs are prepared to open their chapter meeting. The photo caption on the Delta Psi yearbook page reads, okay, so a 1970 University of Mississippi yearbook shows a member of Delta Psi fraternity dressed in full KKK robe and hat, honey, holding 2 burning torches. I mean, this is their history, and they are absolutely proud of it. Okay, they are absolutely proud of it. Let me share this on the screen. Y'all see it? Hold on, let me see if I can make that a little bit bigger. Nah, that's as big as it'll get. But I want you all to pay attention. The amount of hate that you have to have in your heart just to be doing these things for decades. Okay, so here you have the person, I guess that's the person that opens up. It says, bottom, Delta Psi's wait to present Santa Claus with his key to the chimney. The leader of the secret SIs prepared to open their chapter meeting. So this is all of them up there. And then as you can see over here, someone in a whole Klan regalia holding burning torches. It looks like they're at a grave site. That looks like a tombstone. I can't tell what it is. And there's a tree in the background. These people are something else. And then they talk about God, okay, and all of that. But I absolutely believe they worship Satan, because there has been stories reported of them doing satanic rituals and all kinds of stuff. Okay, the Klan, that is. All right, so... And I already showed you all the proof of receipts the other day, how they do these initiations and all of that stuff on July the 4th. And this is absolutely crazy. So now, so they say the main active Klan groups are in Alabama. Okay, I'm going to share this on the screen real quick. I'm going to share this on the screen real quick, and then we're going to start talking about Nolan. I just want you all to see the nefarious history. Okay. Alabama City Chapter, okay, they got the Elkmont, True Invisible Empire Knights, Ashland, United Klans of America, Loyal White Knights of the KKK, Prattville, Traditionalist American Knights of the KKK, Anniston, United Klans of America. They have them in Arkansas, the city chapter, Vandale, International Keystone Knights of the KKK, Harrison Knights of the KKK, Harrison Party Veterans League, Harrison Soldiers of the Cross Training Institute, Harrison KKK Radio. I mean, these people are everywhere. I want y'all to pay attention. City chapter, even in Colorado. Okay. Ku Klux, KLOS Knights of the KKK. Florida, St. James City, Ku Klux Knights of the KKK, Loyal White Knights of the KKK, Georgia, Loyal White Knights of the KKK, Rockledge, United Northern and Southern Knights of the KKK, Illinois, Loyal White Knights of the KKK, Chicago, United Northern and Southern Knights of the KKK. Let me tell you all something. While these people want to come out here, please pay attention to what I'm telling you. While these people want to come out here, the trolls and the haters, want to come out here and talk about the death toll in Chicago and the people getting killed every weekend in Chicago. Here's the thing. What have I told you all before? What have I told you all before? Put a 1 in the chat if you remember me telling you this. I have told you all before that the people in Chicago have been saying for years. The first time I heard it was in 2016 or 2017, almost 10 years ago. But they have been saying that all of these shootings and everything that happened over the weekends, not saying that there isn't any gang violence or drive-bys or whatever, but they have been saying that all these years there have been racist, wanton supremacist people dressed in derrick suits, Okay, dressed in derrick suits. For some of you who don't know exactly what a derrick suit is and how anyone could be fooled into thinking the person's black, I'll show you in a second. Okay, at the end of the day, law enforcement, okay, they have said it's law enforcement and other people that are in hate groups. Okay, so there you go, right there. They absolutely have the Klan in Illinois. Indiana, Madison Fraternal Order of the Cross, Kokomo, Ku Klux Knights of the KKK, Monroe City, Ku Klux Knights of the KKK, Kokomo, Loyal White Knights of the KKK, Kentucky, okay, Georgetown Trinity White Knights of the KKK, Dawson Springs Imperial Clans of America Knights of the KKK, Loyal White Knights of the KKK, Frankfurt, Original Night Riders Knights of the KKK, Louisiana, Converse, Aryan Nations Knights of the KKK, Loyal White Knights of the KKK, Maryland, Braddock Heights, Traditional Rebel Knights of the KKK, Loyal White Knights of the KKK. Now listen, I know this may seem lengthy. You may be thinking, why is she going through all that? Because I want y'all to know what's going on in your state. When you see black people swinging from trees and they lie and say that they did it to themselves, this is who's doing it. Okay, this is who's doing it. And like I told you all before, they're going to continue to lie and say that these people died at their own hands because ever since Beulah May Donald sued the Klan and bankrupted them in 1981, okay, and got her settlement for $7 million and even got the building they worked in or the building they held their meetings in, they will never, ever say again that it was a lynching, okay, because they don't want the Klan to be bankrupted across America. Okay, but let's continue. That's why I want you all to know where these devils are. Maine, Loyal White Knights of the KKK. Missouri, Potosi, Traditional American Knights of the KKK, Mississippi, Bruce, Mississippi White Knights of the KKK, Jackson, United Dixie White Knights of the KKK, the ones we just talked about, Loyal White Knights of the KKK, Montana, okay, Great Falls, Rocky Mountain Knights of the KKK, Great Falls, United Klans of America, North Carolina, Eden, Loyal White Knights of the KKK, Lenore, Ku Klux Knights of the KKK, Pelham, Loyal White Knights of the KKK, Mayock, Original Night Riders Knights of the KKK. Pay attention to how most of them have more than one chapter, okay? Nevada, Loyal White Knights of the KKK, New York, Alamont, Loyal White Knights of the KKK, Ohio, Loyal White Knights of the KKK, Columbus, Original Night Riders Knights of the KKK, Pennsylvania, Oil City, Ku Klux Knights of the KKK, Loyal White Knights of the KKK, Harrisburg, Original Night Riders, Knights of the KKK, Harrisburg, True Invisible Empire, Traditionalist American Knights of the KKK, South Carolina, Loyal White Knights of the KKK, Gilbert, Original Night Riders, Knights of the KKK, Tennessee. Look how many are in Tennessee. Do you all see this? I know not to go there. Ku Klux Knights of the KKK, Nashville, Southern Mountain Knights of the KKK, Butler, Ku Klux Knights of the KKK, Kingsport, Ku Klux Knights of the KKK, Knoxville, Ku Klux Knights of the KKK, Memphis, Ku Klux Knights of the KKK, Loyal White Knights of the KKK, Nashville, Original Night Riders, Knights of the KKK, Alcoa, Southern Mountain Knights of the KKK, Clinton, Southern Mountain Knights, Franklin, Harrogate, okay, the Southern Mountain Knights for both of those. Texas, Campbell, Texas Knights of the KKK, Gatesville, Ku Klux Knights, Quancy, Ku Klux Knights, not sure if I said that right, Loyal White Knights of the KKK, Livingston, Original Night Riders, Knights of the KKK, Virginia, Loyal White Knights of the KKK, Charleston, Original Night Riders, Knights of the KKK in West Virginia, Beckley, Original Night Riders, Knights of the KKK, Loyal White Knights of the KKK. Do you all see this? These are all active, not the past. These are all active Klan groups in the United States, but the devils want to tell us that we are racist. I implore them to pull out and pick out one black hate group. That's what I would love for them to do. Okay, one black hate group. Okay, and also there was another man who drowned as well. Okay, 18-year-old Timothy Magambo, the son of Uganda CID Director Major Tom Magambo, has tragically died, and this was reported May the 19th of this year, has tragically died after drowning while swimming off Shelter Island in New York, USA. According to police reports, Timothy had gone swimming with a group of friends, always a group, near Wade's Beach on Saturday afternoon. The group reportedly attempted to swim across a channel towards Shell Beach when the teenager became separated from the others, they say. Authorities revealed that during the swim, Timothy turned around and attempted to return to Wade's Beach alone after struggling to keep up with the group. Friends later discovered him floating face down in the water and rushed him back to shore as emergency responders battled to save his life. They say he was rushed to the hospital. Police, firefighters, and EMS personnel immediately performed life-saving measures before Timothy was transported to the hospital. Sadly, he was pronounced dead from his injuries consistent with drowning. A young life cut short. Timothy had reportedly just completed his freshman year at the University at Albany, and was a former lacrosse player at Pelham Memorial High School in New York. Oh, that is so sad. That is absolutely so sad. Here's a picture of the young man and his father. And he came here probably to go to college, I would imagine. Remington McCall, yeah, that's him, the one that was making fun, and he was talking about how they did it and all this stuff. This is the young man right here. May he rest in peace. Prayers and condolences to his family. Honey, these people are dying. You know, there was a message from the Klan saying something about kill them all one by one. Okay? I want you all to pay attention. Kill them all one by one. It looks like that's what they're trying to do. Okay, it looks like that's what they're trying to do. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. And this looks like the governor right here. Hold on, let me just show you all this. Now, this looks like the governor. I can't swear it's him, but it looks like him. Hold on. In blackface again. Not in college either. Okay? I find it interesting. Doesn't that look like him? Doesn't that look like Governor Tate Reeves? Okay, please pay attention. Just look at it. Here's his fraternity right here, too. Right here. Lieutenant Governor Reed's fraternity wore blackface. This is people in his group. That looks like him right there. It says blackface Confederate reverence, a decade's tradition in Mississippi. I think that's him too. Okay, so at the end of the day, I'm sure we can see. I mean, Stevie Wonder can see why we should absolutely be suspicious. Okay, why we should absolutely be suspicious of any black person going off with a group of white folk by themselves, being the lone black person down there in Mississippi. We should all clearly see why we should be alarmed, okay, and paying attention. And also, one more thing I almost forgot to tell you all. There was a lawsuit. Hold on, Ocean Springs federal lawsuit. Let's go to this video. Property owners challenge secret black designations, because here's the thing, they're so racist down there in Ocean Springs where Nolan is from, that supposedly they were trying to disparage the black people by listing their neighborhoods or their communities as low ranking so they can get good money for their property, or so the property values would go down. And the people ended up filing a lawsuit. Let's go to it. Okay, this was 6 months ago, reported by the Institute of Justice. Okay, just 6 months ago. I'm going to use an overlay because I don't have permission to use this video.
My name is Dana Berliner, and I am the litigation director at the Institute for Justice. Today, the Macedonia Missionary Baptist Church and many homeowners and a business owner in Ocean Springs all appeared before the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals to argue that the city of Ocean Springs violated their constitutional right to due process when the city designated their neighborhood as a slum. It failed to tell them about it, and in particular, it failed to tell them about their 10-day period to challenge that designation.
Now, please pay attention to how they designated their neighborhoods as slum. Do you all hear that? It reminds me of when Trump talked about shite hole countries, okay? And didn't even bother to tell them.
There are only 10 days, and that is a defense against eminent domain, but no one told them about it. And so what we argued about today was whether that matters, whether they're entitled to notice and an opportunity to be heard on whether their neighborhood is a slum and blighted. The state and the city conceded that by the time you get to eminent domain, you are not allowed to say the area is not slum and blighted.
I'll stop right there. I'm not going to show the whole thing because it's like 10 minutes. But I think we get the gist of it. Now, here's another report. We Shall Not Be Moved calls for the resignation of 2 Ocean Spring committee chairs. Wonder what they did. Let's get into it. All of this is going on down there where Nolan lived. Hold on. Let me make sure the volume. Okay.
Members on the Historical Preservation Committee could be heard making inappropriate comments after a meeting.
The comments followed after a resident requested to preserve Black-owned homes in the downtown area. Stephanie Poole explains.
How would you like for someone to say that your family home, 5 generations old, people who have grown up there, who've lived there, and are still living there, that your family home needs to be burned down?
Those are the comments heard from a member and city employee on the Historical Preservation Committee in Ocean Springs. Members of We Shall Not Be Moved say Carlos Barbosa made the remarks in a now deleted Facebook video. During a meeting on September 14th, a resident proposed to expand the historic downtown, which includes a predominantly Black neighborhood. It was after the meeting. You can see members of the committee huddled in a corner discussing the matter.
And I could not believe what my ears were hearing. And I was pissed. I mean, I really was upset about the situation because I felt like our group had gone down to the Historical Preservation Commission meeting to get assistance.
Richard L. Jackson, the vice president of the Jackson County NAACP, and community members held a press conference to call for Barbosa to resign from the board.
Not only should they step down, they should be fired.
They were mocking them. They were laughing at them.
The journey to preserve homes and structures highlighted in Area 4 of the Urban Renewal Plan. Homeowners say their properties are at risk to be bought out by the city, so more commercial developments can be built. Jackson exclaims it all begins with a comprehensive plan.
That not only do we not agree with his new comprehensive plan, but we don't want the Urban Renewal Plan in it at all. Now you're going to come in and not only put them out, but you don't even have the decency enough to let them know that you have a plan to take their homes from them.
Members of We Shall Not Be Moved will have remarks at the Urban Renewal Plan public forum in October.
We cannot trust them to do what's right by these citizens. And so therefore, we are going to fight until we don't have to fight anymore.
In Ocean Springs, Stephanie Poole, WLOX News Now.
That's a darn shame. Just taking those people's homes without any warning prior to. This is just low down. But see, this is what happens. That's why I said I don't know how Black folks still stay down there, honey. I couldn't do it. And then also, just to let you know, that some of the Black politicians down there are nothing more than raccoons. Because you see, back in 2020, when Governor Tate Reeves signed a bill to remove the emblem from the flag, there was a Black mayor who teared up, literally was crying. Okay, what kind of sickness is this? Okay, Black Mississippi mayor tears up, signing order to remove racist state flag. I don't apologize for being emotional. Isn't that something? Okay, isn't that something? Johnny McGee, the mayor of Laurel, Mississippi, okay, couldn't hold in his emotions after signing that order that immediately went into effect on Tuesday, June 23rd. Now, here's the thing. And here's what he says about it. I have lived through some things with this flag. And as they told Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to wait, time for waiting is over. This is what he said in a heartfelt speech. Okay, it's also been used by some as an image of hatred, divisiveness, and violence, none of which in any way represents the ideals and principles of our great nation, our proud state, our vibrant city. Please sit down somewhere. And isn't Laurel, Mississippi, where they found Raheem Carter? Wasn't his body found? Wasn't he down there in Laurel, Mississippi? I believe that's where he was, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, this is all crazy. Sitting up there crying. Is he serious? Absolutely egregious. Okay, but anyway, let's continue. Let's continue. Like up, everyone, please like and share. Now let's get into this information about Nolan. Okay, first off, Javon, remember how I told you all that people are going to start blaming him? Well, I told y'all he was going to be the scapegoat, and that's what it's looking like, because now someone else has come out and said it too. Okay, this guy did a video yesterday saying the same thing, and I believe it.
Okay, I gotta say this because he doing it so big. You know what I'm saying? He becoming such a celebrity. Like I told you, folks off the coast, they know how to communicate with white folks. They know how to make them happy, so they get what they want to. But he going too far. I'm gonna tell you something about him. It's gonna be him and the boy Tristan. It wouldn't shock me if this grand jury getting put together and him and Tristan gonna be the scapegoats. I didn't want to put him in it at first, but the more I see him, how he trying to do his coastal work, like I told you, I respected it, how they could get along with white folk, but you going too far. See, they're going to throw your black ass in jail. But either way, let me tell you about this one, what I'm trying to tell y'all. Sooner or later, this ain't going to go away. Them white boys going to jail. This will come and slap them in their ass on down the road. It's all about ownership, man. When black people own the homes they stay in and all that, no bank can call them and say, hey, you keep this up, we're going to take your house from you. Y'all don't know how many situations that went on in Mississippi where white folks and done something to black folks, and the reason they couldn't keep fighting back is because they didn't own the property they lived on. They stayed on some white man's property or something, you know, and it was just simply that. And they was like, look, you keep this shit up, we're gonna put you out of your house. We're gonna take your house. So, but yeah, I see it. He gonna get scapegoated. Him and the Tristan boy. They gonna put their ass in jail and probably gonna knock him off. I hate to say it. You're doing too much for the gram.
Now that's exactly what I told you all, okay? That's exactly what I told him and Tristan. Yeah, I absolutely believe it, because that's what they're starting to do. They're pointing the fingers at them. And even the witness who reached out to Secret Service Sam said the same thing, okay, trying to point them in his direction. Let's go to this next clip, because this guy seems to think that the young lady Katie had something to do with it.
That's the boy's name out of the friends of 18-year-old Nolan Wells is that I have not heard much about, that I've been trying to find out his name and everything, and all of this time I have not been able to put the name with the face, and I finally goddamn been able to put it together, everybody. So if that picture is Nolan Wells that was seen at 4:30, 4:31, 4:34 p.m. on the 4th of July, hold on, let me pull it up. Now, if this is 18-year-old Nolan Wells right here. Now, yesterday, I didn't see the photo over here where it showed Nolan in the front right there, because I truly do believe that that is Nolan right there. And that's probably Katie. People been asking, who is the people that's in front of them? Who is the people that's in front of them? Well, I see this person is close in front of them, and this looks exactly like it could be Eric. Right here. And then I look close at this picture and I wonder, why the hell is he holding Nolan's leg in this photo? Now, I'm not saying nothing funny by that or anything like that, but he's holding it as if he's being possessive over Nolan or something like that, the way that he's holding that leg like that. Now, I saw this, and people kept swearing that this person was talking about 18-year-old Nolan Wells, and then also this person said that it looked like the person on the right. So the whole time I'm thinking the person on the right, you know how a camera photo looked to you and everything, the person on the right, you'll go to your right side. So I've been going to that person that's over there when you're facing the camera over to the left. So I've been as if he was on the actual right side, as if you turned around and that person to be on the right. But this person was talking about Eric. Over there, when they said that they seen Eric still on the island asking for rides. It wasn't Nolan that they was asking for, and it wasn't that other person over there in them oranges, beiges type of shorts. The kid on the right looks like that kid that tried to hitch a ride with us. Said he told his friends to go ahead and he'd catch a ride in with somebody. We dropped anchor around 11 closer to the west tip and saw them all walking toward the dunes. There was probably 200 age kids together down there. We ended up moving down by my wife's mom and dad, but we didn't see them again until we were leaving when we were approached by the young man on the right. That was around 4:30 or 4:45. He was alone when he walked up to us. We told him that we were at capacity, and he said no problem. They were friends out there that he could ride back with. That was not talking about 18-year-old Nolan Wells, because this is the post that they was referring to. And as you see, 18-year-old Nolan Wells is not on the right side of anybody. He would be on the right side if you're facing the camera. If they was referring to the right side, they will be talking about Eric. And that's very important, as this would probably be the last moment that 18-year-old Nolan Wells may have been seen alive, everybody, as this is at 4:30 p.m. right here. 4:30 is 4:34. That means that those boys both had left at 4:31. When they said that he had told his friends to go ahead and go, Eric had told them that. I bet Eric had said that and not 18-year-old Nolan Wells, and/or both of them had said that. Because if you look at the hair, if you look at kind of that muscular tone type of build, and then you look at
that definitely looks like Nolan. And if you remember, Nolan was wearing blue swim trunks, and that person has on blue. But let's continue.
those shorts seem to match. If you look at the shorts right here of 18-year-old Nolan Wells that he was wearing, those shorts seem to match. At first, I was just looking at this person when I seen it. I'm like, those shorts was just too blue. As like I said, I didn't see this photo over here. I only had seen this one right here, and I couldn't really see right here to be able to tell enough that that was 18-year-old Nolan Wells. But then when he stepped in front of who it seems to look like was Katie, you would see 18-year-old Nolan Wells' shorts, and then you would see that Eric's blue shorts right here, allegedly, because it has not been confirmed. But I'm telling y'all, that looks like who it could be. And I've always downloaded what that person had said. I screenshotted what that person had said. I always kept it in the back of my mind. I never forgot about it or anything like that. I just never saw a moment to actually be able to use it and to put it together, because of many of people, like I said, was confusing that with saying that they were talking about 18-year-old Nolan Wells. But I don't believe that they were talking about 18-year-old Nolan Wells, as they said the person on the right. And as we see, Nolan Wells would be considered one of the middle people in the photo. He would not be one of those end people. And so far, the only other person that's been seen at the island after 4:31 p.m., if that is a sighting of Eric, 18-year-old Nolan Wells, and also Katie, then those three were seen at the island after 4:30 p.m. And we also know that Tracy Shepard's boat that he rode back on was also on the island after 4:30 p.m., as it was said that they did not leave until 5 or 5:30 p.m. Also, by that alleged witness on that alleged altercation boat, she also stated that Javon Williams had stayed on the boat closer to time for them to leave, but he did not leave with them. And earlier, just a little while ago, Javon Williams got the comment on my post and everything like that. Allegedly, that's supposed to be Javon Williams. And he had stated that he rode on the boat with a friend and their parents. Now, I asked him if that was Tracy Shepard's boat, but I have not received an answer to that yet. And I haven't went back over to that comment section since the last time to check and see if he has replied and answered that yet. But at least one of those people looks like they were still on the island with 18-year-old Nolan Wells. It looks like Eric was still on that island, everybody. There's a person that said that they saw him, so I have no doubt, or there's no reason to not believe that that was a true, accurate sighting of 18-year-old Nolan Wells, as well as Katie, as well as with Eric, everybody. Now, I don't believe that we heard any stories whatsoever saying that Eric, 18-year-old Nolan Wells, as well as Katie, went on a stroll together with each other. And we still don't have the answer to, if they did take this stroll and that was them to take the stroll, we still don't know why it was that Katie wouldn't be walking back, or 18-year-old Nolan Wells wouldn't be walking back with Katie if they walked somewhere with Katie. And it also leaves question to believe what happened after this moment with 18-year-old Nolan Wells, Eric, and also Katie. And I say that as we see the three of them together, as well as what was it that Tracy Shepard as well as Javon Williams was still doing on the island. Now, were they just hanging out and kicking it and doing exactly what they said that they were doing? Now there is a strong chance that is that, and they could be just trying to manipulate their stories because they don't want to be looked at as suspects. But sometimes when you manipulate your story and try to make it look a different way and tell a different stories, it makes you look like a guilty party and it makes you look suspicious. So that's the reason why I started focusing on Javon Williams, due to the fact of the switching of the stories, as well as the stories not aligning and are lining up. I'm hoping that other potential sighting that I saw yesterday ends up being 18-year-old Nolan Wells, and hopefully that'll give us a timestamp as well of when 18-year-old Nolan Wells was also on that boat, if that is 18-year-old Nolan Wells that was on that boat. And hopefully they'll be able to find out who that boat does belong to that's on there. It's either Mac Daddy, Big Daddy. Some people say Mac Daddy as in Katie's last name, McCormick. It looks like it says Big Daddy. It's saying Big Daddy is registered to a boat that says like in Biloxi, Mississippi, I believe, or somewhere down there in their area. But it is a private owner, so people cannot find the owner of that boat. So hopefully these new details and information that's been recently coming out will shed some light on the situation with 18-year-old Nolan Wells, as well as hopefully they continue to be able to find some more details and information on what happened to 18-year-old Nolan Wells, and hopefully some more information to continue to come my way.
Okay, how many times was he going to say Nolan's name is my question. Now, here's the thing. At the end of the day, Miss February says they're using Katie as the scapegoat too. You know, I was absolutely thinking that right off the rip. I said they're probably going to try to use her as a scapegoat because when they first said that he left with her or stayed behind for her, that's what I immediately thought. Now, this guy right here, you know, he does a little research and whatnot, but to me, he's all over the place because, first of all, whoever said that, that picture was taken at 4:30. How do we know that it actually was? I just have several questions, but also this dude, he came out the other day and apologized to Javon for blaming him because that's what he initially was going after Javon. Okay, he blamed him, and Javon's mother pretty much gave a response. Yeah, she pretty much gave a response to him, telling him, we don't need your apology. We good over here. Okay, but now let's go to this post. Let's go to this next video, and then I want to show you all some posts, okay, where someone's talking about Javon.
I want to comment on that Nolan Wells story. As a father, I couldn't even imagine. I look back and all the years I had with my child and up until this point, and just to lose them like that, I couldn't deal with it. So my condolences out to the family of Nolan. Looking back at all those private islands.
Hold on, beloveds. I think I clicked off too soon. Hold on.
Brings me back to when I was on those islands and partying and drinking and laughing. Usually when night hits, that's when the fighting happens. Boyfriend and girlfriends kicking each other on the boats. Friends doing the same thing. Get off my boat, find your own way home, all that bullshit. Because they got a couple drinks in them and now they don't care about anybody but themselves. So, those three idiots on the boats, deleting all the messages, all their social media, for what? I don't understand why you would do that if you didn't know what happened or didn't take part in it. They obviously...
Hold on, let me stop right here so I can answer G4C. Says black teens beat an old black man to death. Why isn't that an issue? Why is it only an issue when white people are involved? It is an issue when black people do things to black people. I'm sorry you didn't get the memo. Okay, but since you want to ask that, I'll ask this. Why is it that when black people go off alone with a group of white people, the only time someone comes up dead or missing is the black person? Can you explain that? How come it's never the white person? How come there's no stories about white people going off as the lone white person with black people in the group and they turn up dead or missing or accidentally drowned? How come there's that? Okay, that's what I would say to you. All right. At the end of the day, we focus on what we want to focus on. And let me just give you a very good reason why we make a big deal out of these situations. Because this happens all over the country. It happens more than once. It's happened so many times. That's why. And the last thing I'll say is this. At the end of the day, you have a nefarious history, specifically down there in Mississippi. Okay? Specifically down there in Mississippi. And it's just like one of you to sit there and try to talk about black on black crime as if that is a thing. Bottom line is, your people kill each other just like our people do. And at the end of the day, here's the thing. If a black person kills another black person, if those teens beat that black man to death, how do you know about that story? You know about it because they were arrested, okay? That's how you know about it. You see what happens when a group of white people, specifically rich, wealthy teens like these, in this case, do something or suspicious in the situation with a black person that turns up dead. Yeah, they don't get an arrest. Okay, they usually don't get arrested. They usually don't get any type of consequences. And when black people are found hanging from trees, they don't get consequences. The culprits don't, because they'll just say that the black people did it to themselves. And so that's why we bring light to it. Okay, anything else you need to know? Because I find it all interesting. And let me just send you on your way, because I don't deal with MAGA. But let's continue.
We're a part of it in a major way. I can tell you that. To that fat hillbilly, I would have lit him up on that beach 100%.
Okay, so anyway, with that all being said, let's go to this post that I was telling you all about. Likes up, everyone, please don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, it says they already know it was Javon Williams. Their moms are friends. It was most likely an accident. That's why in every interview she is fake crying. Looks like she's crying, but not one tear falls. Okay, she already knows. Keep the narrative that it was the white boys. The money and GoFundMe keeps coming. Javon stays out of jail. Nobody is the wiser. Nolan is dead regardless. And they know there is no evidence to suggest it was the white boys. So she knows they won't end up in jail. Nobody is the wiser and everyone wins. I mean, they have some very crafty imaginations. At the end of the day, here's the thing. Why would she want to cover it up even if Javon did do it? That still's the person that took her son's life. You think that she would be stupid enough to be friends, still want to be friends and protect the killer of her son if Javon absolutely did it? Like, honey, the delusion is crazy. Okay, now let's go to this post. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Now we're getting down to it. Okay, Tashima Hands. But didn't Javon state that he grabbed his phone from the boat Nolan had been on when the other boys were going to leave? This is what Jason Henriksen asked. To which she replies, no, that's not what he said. What he said was when he made it back to the dock and the boat arrived, he got his phone back. Okay. So again, someone trying to blame it on Javon, and that's the thing. Javon is black, so conveniently, let's blame it on the black guy, because they don't want these white boys to pay if they did it. They absolutely do not. Now, I'm going to go to a psychic reading that someone did. Okay, I'm going to go to that in just a moment, because they said in their psychic reading, and I can't say this is verified, but I'm just saying this is what they said, that it was due to jealousy. I didn't watch the whole thing, because it was like maybe 19 minutes long, if I'm memory serves me correct. But nonetheless, they said that they believe that it was about jealousy, which is exactly what I already believed. Okay, likes up, everyone, please like and share.
He said, do you notice how all of these deaths have been centered around water? Right? That was the first one. Then somebody just was talking about how the 250 years of freedom was supposed to be a celebration, but it was really like a farewell because the contract is up. And she said, I wonder what they're going to do to try to, I guess, like kind of renew the contract. And it got me thinking about all of these hangings, all of these deaths by lakes, like bodies of water and things like that. And then somebody had made a statement and said these are Klan initiations, right? And this is for entertainment, even though ain't shit funny. Okay, so somebody was like, these is like Klan initiations or whatever. And when you piece all of those things together, it's like, dang, these definitely feel like sacrifices. And you know, they always said that we were the sacrifices, black bodies, and we didn't put ourselves out there for protesting and for, you know, marching and things like that. We said we are standing down, we are sitting in the house, and it's not even a stand down, it's a this is not our fight, and we're not going to give you our energy how we have given it to you in the past, where you have mauled us with dogs and you have hosed us in the street, and we have given you space and opportunity to do those things to us. So now you have to come and get us. Now you have to use your children to lure our children out, because you are trying to do a new contract. I wonder also if whatever they were doing with the immigrants and the Hispanics and the Latinos, I wonder if that was also a part of it, right? I wonder if this is where also where there's diaspora wars going on and the Africans, and we had been saying it felt as though they were trying to do a destiny swap. I wonder if all of this has to do with the fact that a contract came to an end. 250 years of freedom is done. What are you going to do now? This is for people who like to try to piece things together and understand that your reality is more than what you think, and that this is a spiritual realm. And everything that is going on is spiritual. You are a spirit. You are just in a physical body having a human experience. But baby, everything is spiritual. You hear that? He said, clap your hands. Yeah, he giving me a round of applause. Baby, I'm onto something.
Hey, how about you racist motherfuckers invite me to a party? Yeah, man. Tell me where the party at, man. What motherfucking beach, what lake y'all at? Listen, man, I want to come there by myself, man. For real, I'm going to come by myself. All by my lonesome, man, for all you racist whites out there, man. I'm just letting y'all know that, bro. Just inbox me where that motherfucker at, man. Come pick me up. Shit, come pick me up, bro. Yeah, brother, I'm gonna come ride with you, man. We going down to that motherfucker. We going down to the lake. What we finna do? We gonna ride some big ass 4-wheelers with some tires through the lake. We gonna ride some big ass trucks up a mud mountain, huh? Crack some motherfucking canned beers over our head, huh? Beat each other up in the mosh pit, huh? What we gonna do? Hey, I'm ready, man. I want this experience, man. I want the full Nolan experience. Yeah. I want to go to that party. That's the party I want to go to. Yeah, that's that party. Yeah. I want to find that party. Where that party at?
Did y'all hear one of Nolan's real friends speaking about what he believes happened? Listen to this.
I know that friend group that he was with is known for, I don't know if I can say this substance.
Now, I played this for you all before, but I'm just going through this again. This was the guy, I believe his name was Paxton, but this is one of the people who knew all of the people in the group. And he's the one that was saying they were likely doing illegal substances, allegedly.
But they're known for doing a certain substance. And, you know, some of us who have spoke to Nolan prior to the island date, we know that they were known for doing that substance. Another thing that we believe is, what if they peer pressured him into doing something? And again, with the mixture of alcohol and...
This is allegedly, y'all. This is allegedly. And Jesus just giving us his synopsis of what he feels. So allegedly, Jesus, you got to remember when you...
I'm sorry, Jesus, not Paxton.
Getting on these panels, you got to say allegedly, because somebody will try to wrap you up.
Allegedly, coming from his friend group that knows him very well. I'm talking about teammates that played with him, went to school with him, and folks that see him every weekend. Allegedly, we believe that maybe something just didn't go the way they wanted it to. Maybe they were trying to have a little bit too much fun, and it was just a mistake that they covered up. But I know for a fact that friend group that they were with is known for a certain substance. So it does not surprise me whatsoever. And I'm almost certainly confident, allegedly, that there was that substance on that boat. I know we won't know till the body gets tested and all that, but, you know, it's what makes sense to me. I don't believe he tried to swim back to the island or anything like that. There's just a lot of things that doesn't make sense. Why did they leave him in the first place? Why didn't they make sure he had a ride home? If that was me and my friend group that I typically hang out with, I mean, Nolan, yes, was in that, but if it was me and my 4 close friends, I'm not leaving that island until I leave with my friend.
Exactly. Look, all you stupid dumbasses, stop putting out there that you don't know what the talking about. First of all, they hired and they're doing their own investigation in Nolan Wells. The family is, because they don't believe that it was an accidental drowning. That's why they're conducting their own private autopsy. That's why they hired an attorney, a civil attorney. Okay, so stop running your mother's mouth about shit. Don't know what you're saying, like, oh, he was friends with these boys for the longest time since they were kids. Maybe so, but that doesn't mean shit happened. Look at that girl that's on Dateline. She was best friends with that girl her whole life since they were in kindergarten, and then they met a new friend. Her and that girl and the new friend fucking plotted to kill the other little girl that she'd been friends with her whole life. Happens. I'm not saying that's what happened, but what I am saying is quit trying to assume shit. If this family in their heart don't feel like their son died accidentally, which I don't believe he died accidentally either. I don't believe that guy, the only black guy on that, with all the white people, he just chose he wanted to stay on an island all by himself. He ain't gonna go home with the friends he came with. And when the girl clearly told the police department that, yeah, that they parted separate ways, mutual ways, and that he was saying he was getting back on the boat, come the on, do your research. Don't just come on here running your mouth. I'm so sick of ignorant ass.
Speculation and mystery continues to surround the tragic death of Mississippi teen Nolan Wells. After he disappeared on a boat trip with friends, there are unverified photos and videos that have people questioning the account of Nolan's friends like Trayston Shepard, who defended himself on ABC News. Take a look.
We did no wrong here, and we don't understand how we're getting so much hate behind it. We all cared and loved Nolan, and nobody wanted to see Nolan die. Nobody wanted to see his life be taken so short.
So there's so much speculation about what happened. So what is happening? What's going on? Where's it headed? I'm going to ask you.
I think what's very important is that Ben Crump has been retained by the family and is conducting an independent investigation. So much so because this happened in Mississippi. Yeah. There are some racial undertones to this. He was the only black kid on an island full of kids that were white. And his family is saying that he would have never, on the boat rather, and his family is saying that he would have just never stayed on the island and been left behind by his friends. His family also said that this kid, Trayston Shepard, they don't know him. I think we have some sound from his parents.
We don't know Trayston. We've never met him. So to say, best friend, childhood friend, that's a bit of a stretch. We've never met him. He's never been to our home. Maybe high school, they started hanging out or, kind of been around each other. But again, we don't know him. And not to discount anything he has said, which of course, still trying to rule those things out. But I mean, he has communicated. He did offer his condolences, which we appreciate.
So it's just so confusing because there were 3 boys with him that were good friends with him.
What are they saying?
And they turned off their social media accounts. They say that they have cooperated with the police, but they kept his phone and didn't give it to his parents.
And we're still awaiting autopsy results, and this is not currently being investigated as a homicide, but there's a lot of reason, I think, to suspect foul play, because this is, when they say he was left on an island, this isn't like Grand Cayman. This is literally like a sandbar. There's no running water. Nobody would willingly stay back without a cell phone, not knowing if they had a way to get back. And the reports were that he stayed back with a girl that he'd met and was flirting with, but she then told police that he didn't. She thought
Speculate at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking.
Last night, we were shared breaking news in regards to Nolan Wells as audio from a tow call made by his friends around 3 p.m. on July 4th, according to NBC News, would be released. Now, in an extended version of this call, we are now hearing where they were exactly when the call was made. According to now released audio and GPS graphics, they were on the western tip of Horn Island.
We're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking.
Now, as you know, know, we've been following this story, and what we have now noticed is that the call looks to be made in the same area Nolan's body was found 2 days later on Monday. As local outlet WLOX stated, around 8:45 a.m., Sheriff Ledbetter confirmed authorities received a call reporting a body found at the northwestern tip of Horn Island. The body was discovered by a U.S. Park Service ranger. Now, this clearly now gives us a better understanding that when the friends allegedly last seen Nolan at 3 p.m., they would make a call about the boat taking in water and needing of a tow. GPS data graphics would again also confirm they were located on the northwestern tip of the island. Now at 4:31 p.m., they would eventually be towed for about 2.7 miles out before returning to normal operation and headed back to land. Now, after gathering all this information, it now seems for some that Nolan's incident, given that his body was found in the same area, had to have happened between the call at 3 p.m., when they stated to last seeing him, and when they would be towed away at 4:31 p.m. Now, another thing that would stand out in the audio and raise suspicions is that the dispatcher would ask the boat's operator if everyone on board was in good health. And in response to that, he would go on to say, yeah, everybody is on board.
We're thinking, can you all please come?
And is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah, everybody's on board.
Okay, so I find that very interesting. All right, so Beverly, thank you so much for your super sticker donation, beloved. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. FX Trade Yogi says it's likely his friends didn't want him with Katie. All right. So thank you for your insight into the topic, beloved, and your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Here's the thing. When you hear that distress call, they didn't sound like they were in distress to me. But what do you all think? Did they sound distressed to you all? I really want to know what you all think about that. Because to me, they just didn't sound like people on a sinking boat. Okay, what do you all think? Pearlie says, hold on. Pearlie says, Queen, I have a question. It was multiple boats out there. How do we know that the boat, that's the boat Nolan was on? Well, we really don't. Okay, so people are saying, so you all are saying that you don't think they sounded distressed either. I don't either. I'm wondering if they made that call just to sort of maybe an alibi or something like that. I don't know, but it's given. I don't know. Because that boat was doing a whole lot of riding back and forth. Okay, let me go to a couple more comments. Queen, did he send the Coast Guard on a denture? He said west, not northwest. Did he? I don't know. The same voice as Faith. Sounded as regular convo. Right. It just sounded like, matter of fact. Odd Negroes official says Katie is made up for the plot in a distraction. Has anyone even seen or heard from Katie? Well, they say that she's been talking to the police, beloved. They say she got an attorney and that she spoke to the police, and she supposedly came out and said that she thought Nolan got on the boat because that's what he told her he was going to do, or what she saw him, walking towards the boat. Soul Child said, no, they sounded like they had a body on the boat. Okay. Broge says, I don't think they were distressed. I simply believe the call was their cover. It was planned. That's what I'm saying. Nene said it sounded like they were ordering pizza. I mean, it just didn't sound. Okay, Pam says, can you replay the recording? Yes, I sure will.
Light bulbs is starting to go off. So
nobody would willingly stay back without
call. We are now hearing where they were exactly when the call was made. According to now released audio and GPS graphics, they were on the western tip of Horn Island.
We're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking.
Now, as you know, we've been following this story, and what we have now noticed is that the call looks to be made in the same area Nolan's body was found 2 days later on Monday.
Same area Nolan's body was found 2 days later. That is an alibi. Okay? Did y'all hear that? Oh my goodness, I didn't even catch that. Did you all catch that before? Because I literally didn't. So the call was made in the approximate location where Nolan's body was found 2 days later? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? How did I miss that? Shout out to you, beloved, for asking me to play it again. Wow. That's crazy. I did not hear that, didn't even notice it. Cut the Bullshit says, hold on. I'm going to start it back in a second. It says nonchalant, no distress, no problem. Exactly. Azarian says Nolan's friend warns him not to go to that island. He didn't listen. Right. That's the friend that I was telling you all about that told him basically be careful or something like that. He gave him some kind of warning. He said something like be careful or something. And then he said, I'll holler at you when you get back or something. Now, Not About Brittany says body handoff. Hold on. Chat's moving. Body handoff, because the cops pulled up in boats and found the body after the volunteer had already been searching in the area for 2 hours. Yes, girl, that's what I was saying the other day. That if y'all remember when I showed you all the video of the Cajun Navy. Okay, so the guy said his name is Brasher. His last name is Brasher. I don't remember his first name, Brian or whatever, but his name is Brasher. Or no, Thrasher. It was Thrasher. Okay, so remember he said that they were in the air. He said, first of all, they were there like the day before searching and all of that, right? They had divers and all that stuff, and they didn't find a darn thing. And then the next day, they were up in the air about 300 feet, and he said they looked down and saw 2 boats close together. And the body was laying there, and it didn't appear to be waterlogged. And then other boats started coming because the police were setting up a perimeter or something like that. Honey, believe his body was placed there. Okay, that's what I've been telling y'all for days. But I did not catch that. Let's continue.
Monday.
I'm going to rewind it back just a tad.
And GPS graphics, they were on the western tip of Horn Island.
We're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking.
Now, as you know, we've been following this story, and what we have now noticed is that the call looks to be made in the same area Nolan's body was found 2 days later on Monday. As local outlet WLOX stated, around 8:45 a.m., Sheriff Ledbetter confirmed authorities received a call reporting a body found at the northwestern tip of Horn Island. The body was discovered by a U.S. Park Service ranger. Now, this clearly now gives us a better understanding that when the friends allegedly last seen Nolan at 3 p.m., they would make a call about the boat taking in water and needing of a tow. GPS data graphics would again also confirm they were located on the northwestern tip of the island. Now, at 4:31 p.m., they would eventually be towed for about 2.7 miles out before returning to normal operation and headed back to land. Now, after gathering all this information, it now seems for some that Nolan's incident, given that his body was found in the same area, had to have happened between the call at 3 p.m., when they stated to last seeing him, and when they would be towed away at 4:31 p.m. Now, another thing that would stand out in the audio and raise suspicions is that the dispatcher would ask the boat's operator if everyone on board was in good health. And in response to that, he would go on to say, yeah, everybody is on board.
We're sinking. Can you all please come?
And is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah, everybody's on board.
Yeah, everybody's on board. Why would he say everybody's on board? This is all crazy. Okay. This is very interesting. So now, last claiming to have seen Nolan at 3 p.m., made the phone call and then got told at 4:31. Well, hold on. Wait a second here. Did they say that boat? Hold on. Let me look up something real quick, because I could have sworn the other day they said that Judge Ashley Cole said the boat was towed when they left the island at 4:31 because it was taking in water. But then, according to that GPS information we got from WLOX, didn't they say that they made the call around 7 something when they went back to Fort Bayou? Hold on, let me look that up real quick. And while I'm looking, you all check out these pictures or these video clips of Nolan.
Yeah, happy birthday, boy. So what you say?
Turn around, Nolan. Damn, boy. What the fuck? Turn around, Nolan. Damn, boy. What the fuck? Turn around, Nolan. Damn, boy.
Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The troops in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings.
Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here.
R.I.P. to Nolan. I just hate to see that. That young man had so much life in him. Okay, now someone said, I can't remember who, but one of you said in the chat that his father and I believe uncle were famous for football down there in Mississippi and that Nolan had it in his blood. Okay, so here's what I was looking for. Okay, now listen. From this report from CBS News, GPS data from the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources obtained by CBS News tracks the movement of the boat and carried Nolan Wells to Horn Island. Okay, so it says the vessel left a dock at approximately 9:56 a.m. that morning and arrived at Horn at 11:14 a.m. Okay, now it's then traveled to hold on, I skipped something, hold on. Oh, according to the GPS data, the boat left Horn at 4:31 p.m. That's when they left. That's what I thought. Because remember, it was Judge Ashley who said that they called for the tow when they were leaving, said basically they were leaving and the boat was taken in water. Okay, so it does say they left at 4:31, but it says they returned to its original deport dock. It then traveled to Fort Bayou around 5:52 before returning to the dock at 6:06. Later that evening, the boat went to Fort Bayou boat launch at 7:19 p.m. Okay, from there they traveled overland, presumably, here's the kicker. They traveled from there overland, presumably towed by a vehicle to the Biloxi, Mississippi residence of the boat waters. So there's a discrepancy. That person, whoever did that right here, whoever did this broadcast, they went by. I want you all to pay attention because listen, I always tell you all to pay attention to the details because the devil is in the details. So let me just remind you of something. Remember how they first had us thinking that Nolan's fake friends brought the phone to the mother? Okay, but then when the mother did the interview, that's when we found out from Ben Crump that no, she had to track that phone and send Toshima to go and get it, which is Javon's mother. So they tried to paint a narrative and make it look as though the lamestream media, that is, tried to paint a narrative to make it look as though they voluntarily gave her the phone so it wouldn't look like they were hiding anything. And I think that's the same thing that happened here, because when they say, and see, I remembered this because I reported on it and I called the judge a liar. Remember, what they're saying is they're going by what Judge Ashley said. She's the only one who said in her statement that, in fact, they last saw Nolan at 3 p.m. and then they left the island calling for a tow at 4:31 because they were taken in water. But no, because the GPS data said they called for the tow after 7. Later that evening, the boat went to Fort Bayou boat launch at 7:19 p.m. according to the MSDMR report. From there, it traveled over land, presumably towed by a vehicle. So what do you all think? Wait a second. No. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me think for a second. Because towed by a vehicle, maybe they're talking about the vehicle that towed it home and not it being towed from the water. Is that what they mean? Hold on, let me go back and check. AQ says check them bank accounts for big transactions. Local police, Coast Guards, hell, everybody. I really believe they're leading us away from the pool party. I don't know about that pool party at this point, beloved. They said the metadata said it was June 27th. And of course, like I told you all, you can absolutely change the metadata on a photo if you have the original photo. If you're the one that took the original photo and have it in your phone, then you can absolutely change that. Okay, if you specifically if you have an iPhone 16. All right, so thank you for your insight into the topic, beloved, and your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Hold on, let me figure this out. Hold on, let me just check something real quick. Like up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, so let me go to this. Let me see here. No. Hold on. I know where to find it. Hold on just a second, beloveds. I know exactly where to go. Hold on, give me just a second. Ew, what is she doing? Okay, so hold on. Hold on just a second. I'm almost there. I'm trying to go to the exact I'm trying to go to that attorney's page because she posted something about it. Hold on. Here it is right here. Okay. Let me see what she posted. Okay, GPS data proves Judge Ashley Cole made false statements about the conditions of the boat. Says she specifically stated that the group departed Horn Island at 4:30 p.m. because the vessel was taken on water due to the malfunctioning bilge pump. A bilge pump is a device used to remove excess water that collects in the bottom of the boat. Okay, but according to this data from the GPS, the boat leaves Horn Island and returns to the original departure dock at 4:31. So yeah, she did lie, according to this, just like I thought. Yeah, it says the boat leaves Horn Island and returns to the original departure dock at 4:31. Then at 5:52, the boat travels into Fort Bayou. 6:06, the boat returns to the dock again. 7:19, the boat travels to the Fort Bayou boat launch. From there, it was presumably towed by a vehicle to a private residence. Okay, so somebody lying. Somebody is lying. Faith said, you cooked, Queen. Thank you, beloved. Okay, so yeah, what they did, hold on. I'm going to delete this comments because we don't promote other YouTubers in my chat without consent, specifically ones that I don't like. Okay, and I do not like that man. Please pay attention. He's a whole raccoon. All right. So be careful. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so Charlotte says, Queen, the boat regained function after being towed a bit. Call seems fake. Exactly. It seems like an alibi. Now, someone says, Major Marquis says the pool party is where the beating took place. I don't know. Like I said, I can't verify that, so I don't really want to speak on it because I don't want to paint narratives. At the end of the day, I'll wait for the autopsy report to come back from that. Now, I'm not saying I don't think that he was possibly beaten. I'm just not really going to comment on that party because we already found out that girl lied, whoever that person was that posted that to that fake account, saying that she knew the mom, and they're saying they don't even know her. Okay, Byron says, take your time, Queen. We're getting answers. Thank you, beloved. Okay, Big Girl Deluxe says, Ben Crump got them running around like a chicken with their heads cut off. Exactly. Exactly, beloved. That's what I said. Not about Brittany says, LOL, understand, Queen. Thank you, beloved. Okay, so this is all crazy. Cut the bullshit. Wayman says, Queen working hard. You know I am, and I want you all to pay attention. Just remember, you heard it here first, because I saw that Week 2 reported on this 2 days ago. She has not been interested in this story. She must not have had any other celebrity gossip to get into, so she reported on this two days ago, and you all know how she loves to steal the Queen's receipts, okay, and not give any credit. Please pay attention. Okay, so just remember, you heard it here first. Okay. So with that all being said, if one more person puts that man's name in my chat, I'm going to block you. Okay. I don't care what he said. He is a raccoon, like I said. All right. Do not put his name back in my chat, or you'll be blocked. Now, with that all being said, let's continue, because guess what? Terrell Owens came out and asked for justice. Deronda said, Week 2 needs to sit down somewhere. She sure does. Okay? She sure does. And if you heard how she was telling the story, trying to act like she was so upset, it was also performative. She clearly had no passion in her speaking. It was absolutely nefarious as far as I'm concerned. Okay? Now, with that being said, listen to this, because Terrell Owens came out and spoke on Nolan's demise and asked Trump for justice. San Francisco 49ers legend Terrell Owens demands Donald Trump to intervene in the Nolan Wells case. Donald Trump is being urged to take a look at the death of Nolan Wells by Terrell Owens on July the 4th. Okay, we're going to skip past all that because they're just telling what happened. Okay, so San Francisco 49ers legend Terrell Owens has now urged U.S. President Donald Trump to personally take a look at the mysterious case. Okay, Wells' body was discovered July the 6th. I'm going to skip past all that. Okay, so here's what he says. He added that, I can't sit back and be quiet no more. Okay, Donald J. Trump, I'll say this, but I'm going to challenge you to do something in a situation where you should be intervening, and that's in this Nolan Wells case. You should be making a call right now to intervene. The parents, the friends, the loved ones, they need answers. Owens made that same point multiple times in the video while questioning the American justice system. Will Trump act on the 49ers Legends challenge? Only time will tell. I really doubt it. Okay, I really doubt it. So anyway, honey, because here's the thing, the FBI is down there, right? Now, the FBI says that they're down there to investigate these supposed threats, which I played the threats for you all yesterday. One of the reports was supposedly from Nolan's family, where someone was allegedly knocking on the window of one of Nolan's siblings who are younger. And then the other one was some local person. I don't even think they're tied to the case, but it was some local person who was posting about it on Facebook and said that he was getting threats and his wife was getting text messages and all this and that. He could be somebody's father or something, I'm not sure. But nonetheless, I played that audio for you all. But here's the thing. I think that the FBI is down there to help with the cleanup. Okay, that's my opinion. And also, allegedly, now I don't know if this is true, but somebody said that one of those boys, their father is FBI. Now, I wouldn't be surprised because, like I told you all, the two white boys that were last seen with Kendrick Johnson down there in Valerica, one of their father was an FBI. The same thing with Jason Smith down there in Louisiana. One of their fathers was an FBI agent also. So, I don't trust the FBI, and I think they're down there to help with the cleanup, potentially, specifically with Small Change Patel being in charge. So at the end of the day, they already let us know they're not down there to help Nolan's family. Okay, they already let us know that. And so please, and Trump's father, like Yaya said, Trump doesn't care. Y'all know his dad was a Klansman. Exactly. Okay, exactly. And he's probably one too. All right. Now, with that all being said, let's continue. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Those videos of Nolan really were sad to watch because, like I said, there was a young man in the prime of his life. Okay, he had so much to live for. Had so much to live for. Now, with that all being said, let's go to a few pictures of him and his friends. Okay. Because we had people out here acting like he didn't have no black friends. He didn't hang around black folks. He had black friends and white friends, just like I did when I was in high school. I grew up in Kentucky. Okay, I went to a predominantly white school. So I had a lot of white friends and I had a lot of black friends. And when I was with my white friends, there wasn't always all of my black friends hanging out together, but there was always at least 3 or 4 black people with me. Okay? I'm just saying I knew better. Okay? Now, as you can see, he has friends of all variations. All right. And this is his friend right here, Jack. Shout out to Jack, because when he played his game, he wore Nolan's jersey. Okay. So, anywho, and let's go back to the uncanny resemblance of Nolan's mother to Emmett Till's mother. Okay. And next month is the 71-year anniversary of Emmett Till's death. May he rest in peace. Okay. And rest in peace also to Mamie Till Mobley. Sadly, she never got justice for her beloved son. Hopefully, we'll get justice for Nolan. Okay, so now with that all being said, we're almost done. Let's get into the last. Oh, no. Remember how I told you all that they were trying to paint fictitious narratives to throw us off the trail? Remember how I told you all they were putting things out there to muddy the water? Well, check this out. This video surfaces with a bunch of white kids on the beach yelling, "Nolan, where's Nolan?" And it's captioned, "Help us find Nolan." But the gag of it all is this video is actually from 2021.
What did you want people looking for you? Absolutely. Is he missing? He's missing. No way! Serious matter. Yeah.
Okay, and also something else I wanted to point out. Gosh darn it. Hold on. Did I delete that? Hold on, let me show you all something real quick. Something else I had noticed, right? With Nolan and his friends on these clips. Hold on. Let me pull this back up. Hold on. Where's that video? I had another clip. There was another clip I had of Nolan where, hold on, let me look for that real quick. What did I do with that darn video? I get so annoyed. Sometimes, you guys, I have so many receipts, it's hard to keep track. I'm not even trying to be funny. Hold on. Okay, so I had this video of Nolan where Nolan was trying to, it looked like he was trying to break up a fight. Okay, I got it along with those other clips that I have. Let me go to my Canva and see if I left it in there, because I definitely have that video. And I had another video of him too. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. Let me just check this real quick. And while I'm looking for this, let me let you all rewatch that interview.
Before we get started, first off, I want to thank you for being here under these circumstances. I know how extremely tough it must be, and we can't express how sorry we are for you and your family. And first question, how are you two holding up?
Taking it second by second.
Day by day. Second by second and day by day, which we all can understand. And I just want to ask you, the friends that Nolan traveled to Horn Island with, they say that he stayed behind voluntarily. Why would he stay behind?
That we cannot answer. I can't fathom why he would.
I don't know why he would. We always taught him to, if you go with a group, you stay with a group. Mm-hmm. Even when he was in college, he would say, "Dad, well, we're gonna ride down to a party or something in another city. Now, so I was telling them, look, if you go with 5, you come back with 5.
Okay, hold on, beloveds. I have to go back to this, go back to the page it was posted on because I actually had sent it to my Canva, but now I don't remember what I did with it. I hate to be so confused. Hold on. Is this it? I think this might be where I found it. Let me see. Huh. There was a video and it looked like Nolan was trying to intervene when somebody was getting into it. Here it is right here. Here it is right here. Okay. I'm going to share my screen. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
Let him get it. Ain't there no get in there, bro? Fuck. Don't you want to fight? Come on. Get live. Get live. World star, we out here. World star, we out here. What's the problem here? What's the problem here? I got no problem. What's the problem? I got a problem. Come on.
That's Nolan in the blue shirt. As you can see, Nolan came and intervened. Hold on. Okay, so it looks as if Nolan was probably trying to stop them from fighting. And if you ask me, neither of them looked like they even wanted to fight. Okay, it looks like the crowd was trying to boost them up. You all know how kids do. We had that happen to us, I'm sure, in high school. Okay, and so it looked like they were trying to amp up a fight, trying to pump it up. Everybody had their phones out. Everybody had their phones out and all of that. And Nolan stepped in, and when he touched the guy, it looked like he said something to him, possibly to get him just not to do it. Okay? Now, the next thing I want to go to is the gathering that they had down there.
Shall become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword. Anybody can tell me what an astonishment is? Anybody know what an astonishment is?
But I gotta get out.
Yeah, I'm not going to show this whole thing. It's like 14 minutes long. There you can see Jalen and Javon. That's Javon, and I saw his brother Jalen. Okay. And so anyway, I hope they get justice for Nolan. Now, with that all being said, the last thing I'm going to show, and then we're out of here because I will be back later. Okay, I will be back later. We have got to talk about Carmelo Anthony. Okay, I'll be back with more information on Nolan. But also, we got to talk about Carmelo Anthony because Harlem's Harry says, you have a lot of great info, Queen. Thank you, beloved. I do research. I do research. Okay. Now with that being said, let's get to this because as I told you all, someone did a reading on Nolan. I'm not going to play the whole thing. Like I said, I'll just get to the part where they talk about them thinking it was jealousy or whatnot. And I'm not going to share the video because I don't have permission to use it. All right. So, likes up, everyone, please. Please don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance, beloveds. Okay, we're going to use an overlay. I'll just put a picture of Nolan and his friends up. Hold on, let me just address this. Be Blessing says, that's kids being kids. Please remember how things were when we were at that age. That's exactly what I said, beloved. If you were listening, I said, I'm sure we've all had that happen to us. Okay, because absolutely that's something what kids do. My point in showing that was to show that Nolan seemed to be a peacemaker. Okay, not that it was something so outrageous because yeah, we've all had those things happen in school. I remember it. I remember that myself. Someone's trying to boost me up to fight someone, and the teacher found out, and the teacher told me, you know, don't let people encourage you to fight. Don't let them peer pressure you if you don't want to or whatever, because they'll be sitting back eating popcorn and watching. So yeah, we've all had that to happen, and that was my point. But my main point was that Nolan seemed to be the peacemaker in the situation. Okay, let's continue. Oh my goodness, I am so sorry. Sitting here just listening. You all are saying, I'm sorry, I'm glad I noticed the chat. You all saying, Queen, where's the sound? We don't hear anything. Lord have mercy. I'm sitting here watching it myself and literally forgot to share it on the screen. My bad. So sorry, beloveds. I'm glad I saw you all's comments. Okay, so let me just roll it back. Oops.
Promises, but let's see what I get. If I can help, I want to. So remember, these readings are all legend for chambers only, and let's get started. Okay. So let's look at Nolan and then what happened and why. Someone was like, okay, oh, I got the chills. There's some sort of hierarchy. There's some sort of battle for control. So the Hermit is about isolation and introspection. So that's definitely about isolating Nolan. So he had to have been isolated. I know that they left him there, and we'll get into that later on in the reading, but I don't know if I would say that it's like 100% willingly left him there. There's some animosity behind isolating him. Now we are looking at the Knight of Cups and the King of Pentacles. To me, the Knight of Cups is like, sure, I know there may have been some alcohol and stuff involved, but when you look at the Knight of Cups, there's like this level of like immaturity. I get it. He's 18. They're all young. I get it. But the King of Pentacles is about sitting on a throne. So I look at that as competition. And so when I pull cards like this tells me I want to be the leader of the group. I want to go here. I want to go there. I want to do. There's a battle for control of the group. So I will tell you, Nolan challenged someone of all alleged friend tapers only. Nolan challenged someone in the friend group's authority. And they didn't like that. I want to go do this. Why can't we do this? Think of it like if your friend wanted to go somewhere and you didn't, or, I mean, it could even be something like, oh, you're cock blocking, bro. Like it could have been that, like, oh, why are you trying to do this? Like you're sabotaging. All I can tell you is that he threatened the leader or someone who feels like they're the leader, and everyone else follows this person in the friend group. There's one person here. The King of Pentacles, it could be the person with the most money, but it doesn't matter. It's just the person with the status. He challenged their decision-making, and that person didn't like it. And there it is. There's the Devil card reversed and the Four of Swords reversed. And the Six of Pentacles, I'm telling you, Six of Pentacles is about accountability, but it's also about, like, think of that like Virgo energy. It's like rigid. It's like structure. I look at that as like sixth house in astrology. So for me, it's like the routine. So whenever I pull a Six of Pentacles, that's routine. Four Swords, not wanting to say no. Why trying to change the routine, bro? This is what we need to do. We want to do this. We want to do that. There's like this, like, you want to go off the beaten path, then you do it. And the Devil card is like fighting. So the Devil card is negativity or toxicity. So when you look at the Devil card here, there's definitely an argument. There's definitely like passive aggressive energy. There's vengefulness, you know, spitefulness, a little bit of revenge. Like there's some level of animosity. So I don't think that he got along with someone on that group. You're not going to get me to believe that he was honky dory with everyone in his friend group. When you look at the Devil card here, again, that's someone who has resentment. So someone here just didn't like him. Again, felt like, oh, why are you like trying to change the plans? Why are you trying to do this? You know,
let me say this. If he is right, and I think that he is, my spirit tells me and has been telling me for days that Warren was the one that was mostly spearheading this. Warren. I think Warren is the leader, and I think that everybody followed him, and I think that he absolutely was secretly a whole hater. Okay? And that's likely why his stepmother came out so quickly with those statements. But let's continue.
Okay. I'm going to say something, and I feel like, okay, just follow me. I think this is going to be something that only the people of color are going to understand when I tell it. So hopefully we're respectful in the comments and try not to invalidate this, please. What this means is that other people are allowed to change the plans, but Nolan wasn't. And that, like, this to me is like, well, when what's his name said he wanted to do that, you were fine. When she said this, when he said this, you were fine. Why can't I have this? Why can't I have the one good thing? Why can't I have the one good thing? Why am I not allowed to have the one good thing? Why is it that you can do whatever you want, but I can't? And then we look at the Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles is like a battle for control, right? So, or excuse me, it's like a selfishness. So we already have a battle for control, and then we have a selfishness with that Four of Pentacles. It's a greedy, selfish card. The Page of Wands is up, right? And the Knight of Cups. This is about, well, I didn't get what I want, so you're not getting what you want. It could be, oh, we're both fighting for attention of the same girl. I don't give a fuck. Fuck you. If she wants you, then fuck her. It could be, oh, I wanted to do this. You want to do that. Fuck you. I'm doing what I want to do. There has to be something like, I want this thing and you can't have it, and vice versa. Like there's like this, like, it's mine. It's mine. It's mine. It's mine. It's mine. Page of Wands. It's like, I don't know Nolan's personality, and I only, what do you call it? I only looked at the, what's this? The People magazine article. So I haven't seen everything yet. But what I will say is this: it wouldn't shock me if Nolan was more charismatic or more outgoing or more funny or more something, or just more like it wouldn't surprise me if like Nolan was more likable or Nolan had more riz than this other person. And it does look like we're seeing this person be a hater, a low-key hater. I'm not gonna lie to you. It reminds me a little bit of Shanquella Robinson. Not, by the way, that is the one case that I always think about, is the Shanquella Robinson case. She never got justice and it pisses me off. But anyways, I don't think it's to that level. Like, it doesn't feel as like intense. It just feels like, oh, man, I don't know how to describe this to you guys, because I feel like I don't want to cause a problem, but I really genuinely feel like race is involved here, but I don't know if it's conscious. So when you look at the justice cardiverse, which is like justice not being delivered, that's not a great sign for this case getting justice, but it doesn't mean it's impossible. It just means that the evidence is going to be difficult to put together, right? But when you look at the Queen of Swords reverse and the Empress, again, a lot of people are followers, okay? And when you have a group dynamic and there's only one person who's Black, there's a group think involved. And I just feel like I'm seeing a lot of spineless behavior and no one standing up and just letting it happen. I don't know if I would use the term bullying, but I think it's just like, there's like this subconscious othering of Nolan when it comes to what he wants to do in his decisions. And I guarantee if you were to ask the friends, they would be like, oh, well, Nolan sometimes had an attitude, or Nolan sometimes was arrogant, or Nolan sometimes did this, or Nolan's. But I don't know if they understand that being the only POC in that environment, what that does. You know, I don't think they get that, because when I'm in the energy of the situation, I feel like Nolan is frustrated and lashing out. Like, why the fuck is basically him feeling like the weight and the pressure of things being unfair. That's all I can feel, is him being like, this isn't fucking fair. This is unfair. And I don't think that he's like perfect. Like, I definitely see him making some mistakes in terms of his communication and maybe getting to fights or whatever. But it's like, I shouldn't say fights, argument, because y'all gonna run with that. And I don't know if I necessarily feel like there was like a fight, because I know that was something going on what do you call it? You guys told me it was on TikTok. There might have been an argument, but I don't know if I feel like there was a fight. There is no fire signs, so or fire energy. So I don't know if there was like a physical. I don't know if I see that, but an argument possibly, because I see him being frustrated. And when the Justice card is reversed and the Queen of Swords reversed, there's this issue of like, how do I word this? Okay, I know you guys are going to get, I don't want to cause a problem. I'm just going to say what I see. I'm going to say what I see. And I trust my intuition. Okay. And this is genuinely what I'm feeling. Okay. Please don't fight each other. But what I'm in my comments, because I will turn them off. What I'm seeing is someone getting upset that Nolan is getting attention, to the point where it's like, there's an animosity of like, why am I see an animosity of a white person being like, why is the Black guy getting all the attention and not me? Why is the Black guy getting this and not me? I see that. I do. I genuinely see that. I would tell you if I didn't, but I actually genuinely see that. I see someone feeling some type of way because Nolan was getting something that they wanted. And I think that there's an undercurrent of like, well, why is everyone like him? He's I should have that. I'm white. Like I'm telling you, it's there. I'm telling.
You know what I think? You know what I think, you all? I think he's on to something, okay? Because, hey, many of us have been saying we thought that someone was jealous. But here's the thing. When now he's saying this person was likely thinking, why is he getting all of the attention? Why am I not getting this? It should be me. What if one of them was jealous, possibly Warren, that Nolan was going to have that training start for D1 football that Monday? And that's like a football town. Okay, I'm just thinking, but let's
When you was
continue.
there, I know a lot of you are not going to agree with me and you're going to yell at me in my comments, but I'm telling you right now, I genuinely think that played an impact in this dynamic of this group the entire time. Like, Nolan was fine when he wasn't getting attention. Nolan's fine when he's not getting bitches. Nolan's fine when he's not doing this. But once he starts getting something, I see that, especially one person feeling a type of way, and everyone else just kind of like, oh, whatever, just like letting it happen. So passive. I'm telling you, I see this. This is their group dynamic. You are not going to convince me any other way. You're not. You're not. There's the Six of Swords, which is the trip, the Nine of Wands reverse, and the Fool. There's a serious case of just like, fuck him, I don't give a shit. Like, this is the dynamic of someone that's like, I don't care if he has a ride home. I don't care. He doesn't listen, so I don't care if he has a ride home. I don't care if he doesn't have this. This would be like if your friend is like pissing you off and you're just like, fuck it, do whatever you want. Like, I'm telling you, I see this energy of like, oh, you need a phone, you need a charger for your phone because it's about to die. I'm not giving it to you. Figure it out. Oh, you don't know where your phone is? Oh, I'll figure it out. Find it. Like, to the point where it's like, I don't give a shit what happens to you.
Now, what do y'all think about that? Anthony Van says, don't forget about the girl. We were talking about her earlier. I really don't think she had anything to do with it. I believe her more than I believe his friends, fake friends. Okay? This is real interesting. So what do y'all think? What do y'all think? Timeless says they've been jealous. AQ says, anybody know why Christine and Elmore didn't go get the phone instead of sending her friend to retrieve it? In none of the interviews, they don't ask her why. Well, likely because at that same time, they were trying to figure out where Nolan was. And remember, the father left early that morning with the coach and went out there to the island because the coach called him and said he had a boat and asked if he wanted to go. And also there was something said about Christine saying that she was going to go out there. I believe the Cajun Navy said something about that. So clearly they were preoccupied. I don't think that's something we need to be focusing on. Let's pay attention to the serious details. That's minuscule. Okay, it reeks of possibly trying to blame the mother or say something about why she didn't do or whatever. I don't think that's where we should be questioning. Okay, so just my opinion. Now, what do you all think? Because I find that all very interesting. I find that all very interesting. I just think the parents were preoccupied and got Tashima to go because they had other things to figure out, beloved. Not that I'm going in on you, mind you, but I'm just saying that's just my thinking. Because remember, the father did go out there and search, and if I'm not mistaken, that guy from the Cajun Navy. Well, remember, Christine was talking to him because they said someone reached out to them first and then put them in touch with her. So that could have been why all that happened. I don't know. I never even thought twice about it. I just felt like they were preoccupied. Okay, FBA Justice says people will harm others for less. Envy and jealousy will drive them folks to do what we suspect them of doing to Nolan Wells. I believe it. Hey, I believe it too, because there's three of the main reasons for people being killed is jealousy, money, and revenge. Those are the top 3 reasons that someone takes another person's life. Okay? Jealousy first, money second, and revenge third. And when you think about it, that's the first crime in the Bible was Cain killed his own brother Abel because he was jealous. So he clearly wasn't his brother's keeper, is all I'm saying. All right. And so that all being said, FBA Justice, thank you, beloved, for your insight into the topic and your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, so there it is. I absolutely agree with what this young man said, who did this reading. Now, he used tarot cards. Like I told you all, I don't use those. I use the regular playing cards. Yeah, those are the ones I use because they represent the 4 seasons, and every one of us was born on one of those cards, okay? Whether you all know that or not. the playing cards. I don't know if you all know that. But those cards are very significant because they represent the four suits in those cards represent winter, spring, summer, and fall. And there's 365 and a quarter days in the year. And if you add up the numeric value of all of the cards, there's 54 cards in the deck, add up all the numeric values of the cards, it turns out to be exactly 365 and a quarter. Okay, the Joker being the quarter, because the Joker can be itself in any suit in the deck. Okay, and so if you study numerology as I do and have for years, you'll know that people's personality traits are very how do I want to say this? They're determined by the card that they're born under. For example, I'm a jack of clubs, so is my youngest son. We're both mentally creative, very intelligent, and we are jacks of all trades. We have different talents that we have, okay? And so this is where the term jack of all trades came from the jack of clubs. Okay, so that all being said, the only card that you can't really specifically dictate their personality is the one for December 31st, because the person born on December 31st has the card of the Joker, and the Joker can be any card in the deck. So they're kind of hard to dictate what type of personality traits that they have. Okay, so that all been said, I might do another reading tonight myself. Okay, so what do you all think? What do you all think? That's right. Chris Jan says December 31st equals the wild card. Exactly. All right. And so anyway, maybe he didn't want certain things going on. He was supposed to be leaving the next day and didn't want stuff in his stream. Exactly. Now that's been another area of speculation that people have pointed out, that maybe they were trying to convince him to do illicit substances and he didn't want to, because some people said there was an argument about that. Of course, we can't substantiate any of this. It's pure speculation. Okay, so let's just stick to the facts for now. So here are the facts. The facts are that the GPS showed us that the boat left at 9:56 a.m., got to the island at 11:14, 4:31. The boat left the island and then returned back to the original departure dock. 5:52, the boat traveled into Fort Bayou. 6:06, it returned to the dock. 7:19, the boat traveled back to Fort Bayou boat launch. From there, it was presumably towed by a private vehicle to a private residence. And notice when they talk about it being towed to their private residence, one of the news reporters said that it was towed to the home of the owners, which would be Wyatt. But the people that say that they were out there scrubbing that boat and they reported it to the police say that it was at the judge's house. So they didn't mention that. Okay, so those are things that we know for the fact according to the GPS coordinates. And also we know that his body did not appear to be waterlogged according to the Cajun Navy. We also know that the friends were acting very suspicious, talking about him in past tense, not turning in his phone to his mom voluntarily, lying about the keys, and then the father had to find them, lawyered up, deactivating social media, a bunch of suspicious details, specifically speaking about him in past tense. And the fact that they called the Coast Guard, that's suspicious. The fact that they called the Cajun Navy, that's all suspicious. Because why would you call the Coast Guard if you thought that Nolan was supposed to catch a ride from Horn Island? Why would you think that he was possibly still out there or in the water or whatever? Also, let's not forget that when we got the GPS information, it showed us that they went back to Fort Bayou twice. Why did they go there? And also the information that I just noticed today about the fact that that boat, according to the GPS, was right in the vicinity of where Nolan's body, this is the most damning piece of evidence to me, the fact that that boat was right there in the vicinity of Nolan's body, where his body was found 2 days later. Okay? And Literary Pharaoh says the call was simply an alibi to cover themselves. I absolutely agree, beloved. I absolutely agree. Okay? You know why that would be a cover? Let me tell you all why that would be a cover. Please pay attention because you heard it here first. I believe that that call was a cover so that it would look like something was wrong with the boat to where the boat was possibly inoperable, so that it wouldn't be noticeable or wouldn't be mentioned or even a thought in anyone's minds that they had the body on the boat and took the body back out there because the boat malfunctioned. Maybe that's why they made that call. Maybe that's why they made that call. And I'll guarantee you they never expected for the GPS data to come out. Okay? I'll bet you they never expected for it to go this far because the Klan down there in Mississippi wanted to hide Nolan's case and sweep it under the rug. Okay? How much y'all want to bet? That's what it's looking like for me. Now, mind you, this is pure speculation. Okay? The boss ATL said, no, the boat and his body were not on the same side of the island. It was the north and west. Nolan was found on the north. The boat left from the west. But did you not hear what the audio said, beloved? They said that the boat was in the same spot where Nolan's body was found 2 days later. That's what they said. So I'll go with that rather than hearsay. I played it twice. Okay, so Faith says how the body got in a bag. Well, the body wasn't in a bag, I'm sure, until the people came to found it. Yes, and Breeding says, hold on, this chat's moving quickly. I wonder if they've looked around at Fort Bayou. If they did do something wicked to him as far as burning him, there are places to be hidden around there and do something bad. I don't know. That's a good question. Thrasher said his body was found on the northwest tip. Hold on. Let me just look into something real quick. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Honey, we're sitting here gathering receipts in real time. Please pay attention. Okay, the body of 18-year-old Nolan Xavier Wells was found by a U.S. Park Service ranger on the northwestern tip of Horn Island. He was discovered in the water just off the northwest shoreline on that Monday. Hold on. It's asking me a question. Let me see here. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. We're almost done, beloveds. Additionally, a newly released 911 dispatch audio log revealed a distress call made by the group of friends on their return. They reported that the boat was taken in water in Fort Bayou. Shouting, "We're sinking. Can y'all please come?" Everyone on board was safely rescued, but Nolan was not with them. Later that evening at 7:19 p.m., the boat was pulled from the water. The boat was pulled from the water at the Fort Bayou launch and moved over land to Biloxi. So that judge absolutely lied. Okay, saying that it was pulled out at 4:31. No. At 7:19 p.m., the boat was pulled from the water at the Fort Bayou launch and moved over land to Biloxi. Why did they go back to Fort Bayou, though? That's still what I'm curious about. Why did they go back to Fort Bayou? That's just suspicious to me. And why did the judge give a conflicting account of what time they left and when they made the call for the tow because of the boat taking in water? These things are all problematic as far as I'm concerned. Okay? Just for the sake of arguments or not, hold on. Let's go back to the news report. Let's just revisit the news report really quick, okay? Let's just revisit the news report, beloveds. Likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance. Truth Brown says, "Cook Queen, you own it now." Thank you, beloved. I'm just trying to figure it all out. Deronda says, "Queen, my sister was, hold on, something on December 31st at 11:59. Oh, she was born December 31st. Okay, so she's got the Joker's card. Okay, interesting. Okay, so now let's look at this and hear what they have to say again.
If your family vacation ride is looking a little past its prime, it's time for an upgrade. The all-new 2026 Toyota 4Runner is built for summer adventure. Lease yours today for just $4.99 a month at J. Allen Toyota.
More developments in the Nolan Wells case we've been following.
Yeah, our CBS News partners revealing some new GPS data from the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources, tracking the movements of the boat Nolan Wells was on before he disappeared July 4th.
Will Polston joins us now live from the boat launch with more details. Good morning to you, Will.
Hey, good morning, Bill and Brandy. Good morning, everybody joining us at home. That's right, the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources releasing the GPS data of where the boat that Nolan Wells was on July 4th and its whereabouts on that day, just to kind of narrow down that timeline a little bit more. Here's what we know from the data. 9:56 a.m., the boat left land and then went towards Horn Island, which it arrived around 11:14 a.m. Then the GPS data says that the boat left the island around 4:31 p.m. before traveling into Fort Bayou and returning to the dock at 6:06. Later that night, the boat went to the boat launch here at Fort Bayou and was pulled out of the water and taken back to the owner's home in Biloxi. Now, a DMR report also says that the owner of the boat, his mother, and one other person with Wells are all cooperating with the investigation. Now, this doesn't necessarily point to one person or point to anything in particular, but now there's concrete evidence of when and where the boat was at what times. We have heard reports that the boys left the island right around at 4:30, and now that's starting to, that is being backed up now. We'll see exactly what this does for the investigation as time continues.
Okay, that being said, hold on. We got to go back to that video one more time, okay? We got to go back to that video one more time. Now, let's listen again. This is the wrong one. Hold on.
Light bulbs is starting to go off. Somebody.
Now, this clearly now gives us a better understanding.
But she then told police.
Graphics, they were on the western tip of Horn Island.
We're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking.
Now, as you know, we've been following this story, and what we have now noticed is that the call looks to be made in the same area Nolan's body was found 2 days later on Monday. As local outlet WLOX stated, around 8:45 a.m., Sheriff Ledbetter confirmed authorities received a call reporting a body found at the northwestern tip of Horn Island. The body was discovered by a U.S. Park Service ranger.
Okay, they said it right there. They said it right there. Listen, so it's still close in proximity because what they said was his body was found on the northwestern tip. When they made the call, they were on the western tip, right? So I typed in, how far is the west tip of Horn Island from the northwestern tip? It's only 10 to 13 miles. That's why they said in the vicinity. Hold on. Horn Island and undeveloped Barrier Island in Mississippi stretches. Oh, no. It's less than that. Here's the thing. Horn Island and undeveloped Barrier Island in Mississippi stretches roughly 10 to 13 miles long from east to west. Because of this, the straight line distance between its westernmost tip and its northwesternmost tip is relatively short, typically ranging from 1 to 3 miles, depending on exactly how you trace the island's western bend. Okay. Still the same thing applies. They were in the vicinity of where his body was found 2 days later, okay? Because the western tip and the northwestern tip are no more than 1 to 3 miles apart. Also, here's another thing that's suspicious. The fact that they didn't find his body when they were out there all that time on July the 5th is very interesting, seeing as how the island is very small. It's only 10 to 13 miles. Now, I'm not going to say they couldn't have found it, but I just find it interesting that they didn't, don't you? I find it interesting that they didn't see that body all day on the 5th The father and the coach didn't see it when they went out there the morning of the 5th before the sun even came up, because I think he said the guy called him around 5 o'clock. And then they went out, and then all of a sudden, 8:45 a.m., they found him Monday. Wasn't found Saturday or Sunday. Okay? If any of you have watched Pluribus on Apple TV, yes, I love that show. You will see a striking resemblance with how white people move to protect each their perceived sense of supremacy. Ooh, you're right. You are so right. I have to watch that because Pluribus. Yeah, I watched that show, a few episodes of that show when I was at a friend's house because I don't have Apple TV, but I said I was going to get it just for that show. Okay. Broge says you started watching the show also. All right. So anyway, with that all being said, it's a whole lot of things to be speculating about, but we won't know anything conclusive until that autopsy report comes out. And, it looks like they're trying to stall. They want Crump to put his out first, but I sure hope he doesn't, because I want to know what theirs has to say. And now that we also, this is very suspicious to me also, or could be, the fact that Benjamin Hudson, Warren's father, is a whole toxicologist. Okay. I find that very interesting. Now, Truth Brown says Nolan's body was not there then. They brought him back. And that's what I think. That they brought his body back and placed him there. Okay. Odd Negroes official says, anyone remember Noah Pesgrove? He has a similar story. At a friend's party, was liked by everyone, ends up getting scattered dead on the road. All the friends don't know what happened. I never heard of that. I never heard that story, beloved. Okay. Real talk, we need to be PIs, not these YouTube degenerates, because they sure aren't supreme. We need to be private investigators, right? Okay, now listen to this. Azakotan, I hope I said your name right, says they need to find out if any of Nolan's friends have a large freezer in their homes. Well, here's the thing. I don't think they would have put him in a freezer, beloved, because had they done so, his body would have been in better condition and wouldn't have been unrecognizable. Okay, possibly wouldn't have been needing dental records if they tried to preserve the body. Also, it likely would have still been cold when they found him. So I don't think they did that. What possibly, now I really am just speculating here. Please pay attention. Possibly Nolan was on the boat and then taken back to the island. But does that even make sense? Because they said the boat was towed and Nolan wasn't there. They said the boat was towed and Nolan wasn't there. I don't know, but I definitely think they did something to Nolan. I don't think this was an accident. They've told too many lies and acted so suspiciously. Just imagine your friend, your best friend, or even a close friend passing away, and then the day after, before the body's even found, you're lawyering up, you're deleting social media. Like, this is all problematic. You don't want to give the phone to the family. You take 15 minutes to bring the phone out, and when you do, it's scrubbed. Make it all make sense. Okay, the Klan, I believe the Klan is absolutely behind this. I think it's a whole clandestine operation going on to cover this all up. Okay, I think it's a whole nefarious agenda, including the Klan, to cover it all up. Okay, at the end of the day. And let's not forget that clandestine is basically a plan. A secret plan, something done to keep secrets, to conceal an illicit, unauthorized event or something like that, okay, for a nefarious purpose. All right, so yeah, clandestine is exactly what I think is going on here, a whole clandestine operation, specifically now that we know of all the Klan activity down there in Ocean Springs, that we're literally just passing out flyers in 2024. They have 7 Klan groups active right now in Mississippi. The governor wore blackface. The former Attorney General, Jim Hood, who was the 39th Attorney General, served 4 terms from 2004 to 2020, was in blackface. The governor also spoke at the Brothers of Dixie Confederate speaking thing. He was the keynote speaker. All right? Yeah. Absolutely nefarious. So if I had to guess, I would absolutely think that they did something. Okay? It's not looking good. But I just hope we get to the bottom of it and that justice is served and we get to the truth. All right. So with that all being said, listen, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe. Odd Negroes Official said she thinks it's a cult. Absolutely, because the Klan is a cult. Absolutely, they are. They have all the cult-like symbolisms and practices, traditions, and all of it. And again, let me remind you all, if you missed the video that I did the other day, or if you're new to the channel, please make sure that you check out that video where I talked about how the Klan has these initiation rituals and all of that stuff on the 4th of July. And specifically, they would have had it this year because of the 250th anniversary. Okay? Queen, I'm going to drop a link on your community page with a reading from a Black lady that was spot on and revealed a lot. Okay, do me a favor, beloved. Send it to my email. Okay, I'm going to put the email in the chat right here. Okay, I'm typing my email right now. It's QueenAhmadiyyahShakur@gmail.com. But just in case you need the spelling, there it is. I just put it in the chat. All right, so listen, I love you all to life. I hope you all enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Okay, and this is what I also want to say. At the end of the day, listen. We're trying to get justice for not only Nolan, but we need to have them, there needs to be justice in Nolan's case so that hopefully these things can stop. This needs to be a wake-up call for any Black people who still think it's okay to go off by yourself, specifically to a body of water with a group of people that don't look like you. Okay? This is why this is very important that this case stays highlighted. And like I said, especially that they get justice. At the end of the day, I wish all of the families these things happen to could get justice, but we know, sadly, that is not going to be the case. But the Mississippi Klan needs to be brought down. The Mississippi Klan needs to be brought down. And if I was a resident down there in Mississippi, I would be trying to get some of the people who look like me to sign a petition or to file a lawsuit. Okay, to file a lawsuit against the Klan, whether you win or not. I would draw attention to them because a lot of these things happen down there. These people being strange fruit, these people falling and supposedly accidentally drowning or whatever. I absolutely believe the Klan's behind it. So with that all being said, I will be trying to get something done against the Klan. At the end of the day, they need to be put on blast because I really think they are behind this. Maybe someone was trying to get initiated, maybe not. But at the end of the day, something isn't right about this whole thing. It stinks. Okay? Anyway, with that all being said, love you all to life. Enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. And I'll be back later. Okay, probably, if I do come back later, it'll probably be around 8 o'clock or 8:30, somewhere around there. I'm not going to guarantee I'll come back, but I just might. If not, don't worry. I'll be here in the morning with your morning wake-up call and more information. Okay, so... and then let me just say this too. You all know the song that I play by Royal Oak, and I'm going to play that song as we leave the broadcast as well, rather than playing my song like I normally do. But this lady told me the other day, she left me a comment saying, and it was somebody who didn't look like me, mind you, and she said, oh, that song you played at the intro is terrible. Okay, you need to stop spreading hate. I told her, first of all, I love that song. Okay, and I didn't write it, but shout out to the person that did. That song bothered her. You know why that song bothered her? Because this song is basically calling out the Klan. F your founding fathers. Okay, they were Klansmen. And at the end of the day, it talks about specifically on the 4th of July. All right, the day Nolan lost his life. So yeah, I know you don't like that song, so I'll play it again on the way out. All right, until next time, everybody, enjoy the rest of this day, and I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
4th of July. Fireworks in the sky. But the truth's still buried underground. Royal Oak. Yeah, yeah. They told me, wave the flag while the chain still clank. Told me praise the names on the blood-soaked banks. Told me freedom was born in the room full of men who wrote liberty down while they own human skins. So fuck your founding fathers and the myths they made. I don't pledge to the lie, I don't kneel to the page. You can light up the sky, I remember the smoke from the fields, from the ships, from the necks in the rope. You call it independence, I call it selective. You call it patriotic, I call it protective. Other stories so fragile it cracks when questioned. Truth knocks once and they call it aggression. Yeah. Red for the blood they spill, white for the lies they told, blue for the bruises left on the bodies they sold. Don't ask me to celebrate what never included mine. I came with the receipts, I came to redraw the line. Fuck your founding fathers, I don't owe them praise. They built a nation on our backs, then told us smile through the pain. Fuck your founding fathers, let the fireworks cry. This ain't freedom for the people. If the truth still gotta hide, yeah. No justice, no peace, no lie gets crowned. We don't worship old ghosts when the roots scream loud. Fuck your founding fathers. On the 4th of July, I'm lighting up the truth while they light up the sky. They say, look how far we came. I say, look what it cost. Every courthouse got a shadow, every victory got lost. They gave statues to the takers, made heroes out of thieves. Put their faces on the money while the hungry couldn't breathe. Don't lecture me on freedom from a stolen land stage. Don't quote old documents with blood on the page. Don't tell me be grateful for a seat at the table when my people built the room and got treated unstable. You can't buy me through the truth, you can dress it in stars, but the anthem still echoes like chains behind bars. I don't hate the people, I hate the disguise. I hate when the guilty get praised as the wise. Red for the blood they spill, white for the lies they told, blue for the bruises left on the bodies they sold. Don't ask me to celebrate what never included mine. I came with the receipts, I came to redraw the line. Fuck your founding fathers, I don't owe them praise. They built a nation on our backs, then told us smile through the pain. Fuck your founding fathers, let the fireworks cry. This ain't freedom for the people. If the truth still gotta hide, no justice, no peace, no lie gets crowned. We don't worship old ghosts when the roots scream loud. Fuck your founding fathers. On the 4th of July, I'm lighting up the truth while they light up the sky. Don't call it hate when the wound speaks back. Don't call it division when our name was fact. Don't call it progress while the system still bites. Don't call it freedom if we still gotta fight. I'm not here for comfort, I'm not here to pretend. I'm here for the children who deserve better than this. Better than myths, better than chains, better than flags used to cover up pain. So this one's for the ancestors who never got rest, for the names never written but who gave us their best, for the mothers who prayed, for the fathers who ran, for the babies born fighting in the stolen man's plan. This is not disrespect, this is correction. This is not rebellion, this is resurrection. You can keep your parade, I keep speaking the truth. I don't need permission to remember my roots. Royal oak in the soil, truth in the flame. If the crown came with silence, then I don't want the name. But if the crown means standing when the whole world falls, then I'm 10 toes down till the real story's told. Fuck your founding fathers, I don't owe them praise. They built a nation on our backs, then told us smile through the pain.